I see you and you and you and you and you.
Yeah.
But if you're listening, karibu sana. My name is Noel Nderitu. I have been a musician for a couple of years now, based in Nairobi, Kenya. That's why I'm so excited that I'm in a station finally that plays Kenyan music.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're gonna get through, I guess, the projects that I've been able to do and conversations around the music.
So I want to start off by saying something interesting. We play only Kenyan music, but what I love about Kenyan music is that there's different types of Kenyan music, in the sense of a regular radio station would be focused on urban music, hip hop music, and that's what their niche is. Yeah. But for us, we've played Gengeton today.
Yeah.
We've played Tetushani today, who's alternative. We've played Noel Nderitu today, who's Christian or gospel. Like, we don't think that it's okay to put Kenyan music in a box and say we only play this type of Kenyan music. So regularly it'd be weird to like have you here if we're not like, you know, like make it make sense kind of thing. Yeah. But we don't try to make sense of things here. You know, when you're given an assignment, you just do your assignment. If you try to like mark it for yourself, and so we love that we could play your music, but also all of the other Kenyan music that is around us.
Exactly.
But I'd love to know, how would you define the music you make? Because we actually had a little
back and forth.
Back and forth is like, is it Christian? Is it gospel? What is it? I don't know how to define it, but I can't. I would never define it.
Right. And I appreciate that you didn't try defining it.
We don't want to put you in a box, sir.
Thanks. But yeah, I guess the word that I've used over the years is soulful. Because a lot of times I feel like when you tie yourself to a genre and then you do something else, people feel like, you know, who gave you permission to do that?
Yeah.
So before the tag that I was given was R&B. Like you're super R&B.
Okay.
And then it moved to, hey, you're like acoustic. You're like an acoustic musician, right?
Okay.
I mean, I can rock with those.
I mean,
but
you're always the guitar.
The day I want to do a hip hop album, will you tell me I'm not allowed? Like I'm only an R&B guy.
They will. They'll try to.
They will tell you.
They will try to.
They will definitely.
Yeah.
Ajay? Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? Let me stay away from like the genre tag,
right?
Or even the content tag. You know, Christian gospel. Let me just stick with soulful, so that when I want to make music that's relational, you guys won't be like, but you are the Christian guy.
Yeah.
You know?
I love that you use the word relational, because one thing that we both agree about your music is it's very relatable.
Completely.
Relatable. Because you see a lot of, it's hard. We had Giuliani here 2 weeks ago, and Giuliani was saying that when he was becoming a Christian, the music that was being played, or the Christian music that was there, he couldn't relate to that, because he was a young man going through life and he was living in a certain place. So he's seeing this, he's feeling this, whether it's you seeing girls or you're seeing drugs or you're seeing violence, and then you're listening to Benny Hinn and and it's like, what? I can't relate to that.
Exactly.
So when you said relational, I love that you use that word.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess through the years, and even we might talk about it, through the years I've been able to make different music for different seasons, depending on where I am. And some of it has been vertical, you know, like you said.
God. Hallelujah.
And some has been like super conversational, super relational. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm dealing with. This is me talking to my boys about it. And so I have that balance. And so I feel like if I tie myself to a specific tag,
they will crucify you.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have that freedom, and I feel an artist should have that freedom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the project. So speaking about your journey, and you said you've had projects.
Yeah.
Take us to that moment, right? That you can recall hearing music for the first time, and you're just like, okay, what is this? I want to discover this world.
That's a good question.
I want to be part of this world.
That's an excellent question. I think thinking back, I realize now as a musician, a lot of memories I have, like from movies, from like a movie like Sister Act.
Oh yes,
Sister, is it Sister
Musicals.
Act 2?
Yeah,
right.
Whoopee.
Yeah,
like it's funny how I remember intricacies of the movies, and I watched them a long time ago.
Yeah,
and then there was another movie where I feel like the music like really stuck with me, and I wasn't a musician; I was just a kid. Well, there was a movie called The Fighting Temptations. It was a Cuba Gooding Jr. and Beyonce movie.
I remember that movie.
Yeah, and they
there's
had
a lot
like
of just chart setting.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so they had a lot of like choir type singing.
Right.
And Beyonce is Beyonce. So she was killing everything she was touching. And I remember feeling like, yo, man, like, like.
I can get with this.
This is something I like. I just didn't know I was a musician.
Yeah.
But the earliest memory, I guess, is when I was in primary. My class teacher at the time had a guitar at the back of the class, and I insisted that he teaches me one song.
Why would you insist?
Because it was just there, and I was in a boarding school, and you need to entertain yourself.
I like that.
So I was like, yo, it's just here.
And I'm here as well.
A fun fact, that guitar was called Stella.
Hey, shout out to your babe.
I know, and my boo is called Stella currently.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo,
shout out
deja
to
vu, bro.
Ilianza from back in the day.
Back in the day,
God,
man.
put it in your heart. Back in the day.
I know, man, but he taught me like a Bob Marley song. Everything's gonna be all right.
Hey,
and
wow. What a wow.
I played that song for a year, like guys
constantly.
Guys hated me. Like,
that's the only jam you're playing.
We'd finish a lesson, break time. I go to the back, I pick it, I play.
And but I'm sure
For
you're saying you're getting better. Though. The good thing is probably you're getting better over time.
I probably suck, bro. Like,
to be honest, let's just be honest. Let's leave it all here on the table. To be honest,
because people will be like, "Oh gosh, again." But thinking back, I didn't touch a guitar again until like probably 10 years later.
Whoa.
But thinking back, I was like, "Yo, why was I so interested in that? Like, why was I gravitating towards that? I think music was always in me, just didn't have an expression." Because I was just pretty much into sports more than music.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So let's get like completely to the beginning.
Yeah.
Your name is your real.
Could you turn down my headphones?
I actually don't know how to do that, but I can try.
As you ask the question.
What is your real name? Sorry.
My real name is my artist name.
Okay.
Noel Nderitu. My middle name is Ndegwa.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that. And I don't use it much. But yeah, I don't know why I decided to go with my real name.
But I feel like Noel's a unique name.
Yeah.
When I think of Noel, I think of Noel.
Yeah.
Noel. Christmas.
All right.
Were you born during Christmas?
I was due on Christmas.
No other.
But you didn't show up on
I didn't
Christmas?
show up. but the name was pre-picked, committed, and
so when did you show up?
I showed up on the 19th.
Oh,
Wait,
you came before.
early.
Yeah, before.
Well, it's about bro, natoka sahi.
My mom was like, "Yo, we're not changing that name."
Where were you born?
I was born in Nairobi. I was born in the Mater Hospital.
Okay.
I went to St. Nicholas for nursery.
Do you have siblings? No. So before even you go to school, do you have siblings?
Yeah. I have 2 older brothers.
Okay.
All dudes.
All dudes.
Wow.
3 boys.
3 boys.
As
And
a
you're the
boy
last
band.
born.
I was supposed to be the girl.
Oh.
They were trying for a girl.
Trying for a girl.
So it was Noella.
And then I think they were like, "Yo, if you risk a 4th one, it's another dude."
Sidai.
yeah, things are thick. So I was like, cool. But yeah, I have 2 older brothers, none of whom are musical.
Okay. How much older are they than you?
The middle child is 3 years older than me.
Okay.
My oldest brother is like 7 or 8 years older than me.
Wow.
Okay.
Significant.
Yeah, they were really crossing their fingers like, okay, we've tried.
Yeah.
We've tried.
But yeah, I mean, where did we? I'm trying.
So now
you went to nursery school.
St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas.
Yeah, St. Nicholas for nursery, and our life was very Westlands.
Based.
Like I went to Visaoshwal.
Okay.
Primary school for the first 5 years of my primary. All my brothers went there and finished there. And then at some point, I think my folks just wanted their lives back and sent us all to boarding school.
Boarding school.
They're just like, go.
So where do you end up going for boarding school?
So boarding, I went to a school called Mount Kenya Academy.
MK.
You're an MCAS person.
It's in Nyeri.
Wow.
Yeah. That time it was not... I went there the year before last year.
2019.
I was like, why wasn't this here when we were here?
So it wasn't the MK that we hear of. It's a nice school. I don't know.
Okay,
nice.
I mean, it was nice, but
it wasn't that nice.
So how
we struggle.
we were played. Man.
How old were you when you go to MK?
MKA, I am in class 6. What's that? You're like...
So just before class 8 happens, you go to boarding school.
Exactly. So
Do you go because your brothers go, or because now they want to get you at the house?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they really recommended the school for some reason. And at that point, you don't ask your folks questions.
Of course. How do you
Just
even
say,
ask a
yeah,
question?
Yeah, we'll go.
Yeah.
We'll go.
How do you ask them? Bro, man, I don't want to go for boarding school. Man, I'm used to Visa Oshol and Westie.
Right.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, I think that experience, because I've been to very average schools all my life. Even high school, I went up here, Aga Khan High School.
Oh, okay.
This one
So,
next to Njugunas.
yes. Hey.
Back to the Westie Wayaki way.
You can't live West. It's like you can't live West.
It just calls you back. Draws
Just
you
calls
back.
me back.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I feel like all those experiences, they were very normal schools, because we'd have a full range of people. You'd have the hustlers, you'd have the gangsters, you have the Barbies, you have
The rich.
MPA
Yeah.
was a bit. It was very balanced. Like there were no thugs. Yeah, it was a balanced school, so it taught me a bit more about knowing who you are.
Okay.
And just being grounded in values that I came to learn later were Christian values. But the school wasn't like, it wasn't like I felt like they cared for kids.
Okay.
Looking back, like there was a certain care beyond just, we are here to educate you. They were like, we want you to succeed when you leave. That's the sense I got. And that's this, I've only gotten that from that school. Like out of all the other
schools you went to.
All the other schools were like, we just want you to leave.
Lipa besh, no toke. Lipa
Just want you to
besh, no
finish and
toke.
leave,
Yeah.
bro. So, yeah, I mean, looking back, it's interesting to see that, I feel like there was some significance in even how I create now based on what I learned then. Yeah.
So I have a question. I'm trying to understand something. Your middle or older brother is 3 years older.
Yeah.
And then your oldest brother is 7 years older. Are you guys close as you're growing up? And what kind of music are they listening to? Do you guys play? Like, I'd like to know like their influence on you as the younger brother.
Exactly. And if you have older siblings and you're listening, you know that what the older siblings dictate is what goes in the house.
Yes.
Right?
Facts. As the older sibling of his house. And
That's
us
why
guys
he's like,
as yes. And us guys as the ones who have to cool out that.
I know.
Yeah.
So for my oldest bro was a true hip hop head.
Okay.
True. And I feel like that's why we were all hip hop heads.
That's why.
Because he had
What was he listening to?
He had the autonomy over the radio. So he was listening to Lost
First
Boys.
Wow.
He was listening to Park, Biggie. He was listening to Naughty by Nature.
Okay.
He was listening to Coolio later. Coolio even came to Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember they
In
went
the
for
late
show.
90s.
Yeah, I was a kid, but they went for the show.
To have fun.
So
Ukachwa
I feel like
nyuma.
my hip hop not background, but foundation. That's kind of the first music that I consumed, and I was like, everyone consumes hip hop. That was what I thought in my
Okay,
head.
because in your house that's what people are consuming. You think that's what everybody else is also consuming.
Exactly. And so like as a kid, why are you singing I Got 5 on it?
I got 5 on.
Like it took me years later to
To
realize
understand the lyrics.
what we were talking about.
What you were saying,
But
and
it
you're
was
saying
normal.
from the rooftops, bro. I got
And
fat.
you're like a youngin', so
Yeah.
that was kind of what they listened to. They weren't super musical. They weren't like broad in terms of like other genres. I think I discovered R&B for myself because I feel like hip hop and R&B are like cousins.
Yeah.
And one goes with the other. And then also I grew up in a time where matatu culture was super prevalent.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Akukuwa na Uber.
Exactly.
Na Duvi.
Exactly.
Actually, yeah. Yeah. There was none.
There are no do-these,
Yeah.
no Ubers. So matatu culture dictated a lot as well. And depending on the route you lived,
Yeah.
it also depends. It's not
It
depends.
it actually selects the
You
genre.
wanted to be in
for
the mat
sure.
that was the loudest, coolest,
Exactly.
nice mat.
Exactly.
sure.
And so like I lived in Gong,
Yeah.
111. That was
Yeah.
my route. And then school route is 23.
Yeah.
And so it was purely hip hop and R&B.
Yes.
Like
Actually, yeah, for sure.
pure. So I got the R&B from the mats.
Okay.
Like, the Brandies, the etc.
Yeah.
All the artists you could
Wait,
think of.
you said something. You were living in Gong this whole time.
Yeah.
So when you were coming to Westie with Fisher Oswald, you're coming from Gong.
Yes, sir.
That's madness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
You know my dad worked at Unga House.
Right here in
on
Westie.
this side,
Okay.
on
So
this side.
I think he curated everything to be convenient for
For
him.
him.
As he should have.
As in,
As he
mimi
should have.
nikitoka
I mean, he's
tunatoka pamoja.
he's not paying the
Tukirudi
bills, man,
for
so-
sure after all. Which makes sense.
Exactly.
Because
So-
already Gong still has that traffic. So imagine just going Gong Town to pick you
but
guys.
I mean, at the time, there was no traffic. People never lived
there was no
that far.
cars.
Yeah, so people never lived that far.
It's not that ancient.
It's
that
like
there were no
Ruaka.
cars. Yeah.
Like Ruaka started getting traffic
Yes.
juicing.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
true.
like Kitengela. Now we hear people living Kitengela.
Yeah.
But before, Ngong was like, hey, you live far, bro.
You live... Okay,
It's
you
after Karen.
I think Rongai made Ngong closer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rongai, man.
Shout out to Ronga
Shout out to the
guys.
diaspora. The diaspora listening, we love you guys.
Where you need a visa to cross counties.
Exactly.
Okay, so now on this same tangent,
Yeah.
So you're at MCAS, and this is where you're getting to know yourself better.
Yeah.
You have this hip hop influence. You've discovered R&B for yourself. When do you pick up the guitar again?
I pick up the guitar after, I'd say Form 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tell us how that was like.
Form 3, I don't know what. Let me say it's a God thing, I guess. I don't know what drove me to ask for a guitar. Like, I hounded my dad for a guitar for almost 6 months, and one day he came with a box. Like, it was a classical. It was a really bad guitar because I guess he didn't know what he was looking for.
Yeah.
But I was thrilled either way. And then now getting into my fourth form is when I tried to get a teacher, but it didn't really work out. And then this is around the time also where Kenyan music is super buzzing, right? So
Tell the people who don't know when you say Kenyan music was super buzzing, what does that mean?
So this is like early 2000s, like 2006, 2007. And 2002 is when like guys like Issa broke out, right? And so there was that whole Ogopa wave.
Yeah.
And then later now it started, and then the Genge guys came, Juakali,
Caliph,
Caliph.
Yeah.
And then later on, now other genres started coming.
Right.
Kapuka.
I mean, Kapuka it's already big at this time. There was a guy called Gitch Boy who used to do
Bounce. Bamzi.
So all that is popping in the mainstream. So now, like 2006, people like Ted Josiah are producing alternative, what I'd call alternative music. Like, we have guys like Dij who are doing like neo soul. He's done an album. We had guys like Harry Kimani who are doing like. So we had some sprinkle of artists who are not doing mainstream content.
Yeah.
But who are doing great Kenyan music in a soulful way. And so that's what I gravitated to, because I was like, I feel like I could do that.
Yeah.
So those artists I've mentioned, around that time, that was kind of the first time I was like,
you guys sound
actually,
good.
because before that, everyone just wanted to rap.
Yeah.
Even in high school, we were all just battling each other. Everyone thought they could rap.
You rap?
I can.
Hey.
I can. It's been a while. Maybe my pen is not as sharp as the kids who are rapping now. But I mean, everyone tried to rap, even guys who weren't musical. And so, but then when I started seeing these other art forms, I was like, actually, there's more that can be done. And so, Harikimani, Dij, Waire, at the time, Necessary Noise, started showing me, Eric Wainaina. Yeah, so, and then even the live music was, I guess, picking up. But still, I was like, I don't know if I wanted to.
Noel, I'm very confused.
Yes.
I'm very, very confused.
Talk to me.
We've been talking for a few minutes, and you've not even talked about you singing at all. We've talked about guitar, learning how to play guitar in primary school.
Yeah.
We've talked about you going to high school and then wanting a guitar at some point. I've not heard you say, I was picked to sing at a talent show in class 3. Yep. I've not had, like, nobody's discovered that you can possibly sing or have a talent in you the whole time.
Nobody.
Not even yourself?
Not even your siblings, even at home, as in even in church.
Wow.
Nobody's, like, nobody knows.
No way.
Even you don't know, I'm assuming.
Even I don't know. You see,
how do you live with a talent and not know? Like, how do you live with someone and not know they're there?
You see, you need to understand that if you're from a hip-hop background,
right,
singing is not something you want to do.
Yeah, kwanza the high notes that you normally gonga.
Singing is like weak to a hip-hopper. So that was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because of the mindset of a hip-hopper.
Right. Yeah.
Like, singing is the last thing on my mind. So I never attempted to sing. I probably did if I was singing along to songs, but I couldn't tell I had a good voice. I never sang in front of anyone. The only thing I did in front of people was rap. So even in high school, I remember we had a culture day in my last year of high school, we had like this culture day, and our class was so lazy we picked hip hop culture because like they needed to go all in, dress like the culture, cook a meal for the judges. So guys were like Swahili culture, they were making biryani.
Yeah.
Us were like, we'll just buy fries and chicken. That's
the
a hip hop meal.
Fried chicken
and some fries.
And then you already have the baggy clothes already. You have the wrap pad down pad.
Yeah, and that's how we dress every weekend. So
why not?
So we came. It was super lazy. Like we had one of our guys did graffiti on the wall. Super lazy. But I remember on the performance beat, they wanted a performance beat, and so we did a
rendition
of sorts. And one of my friends sang, and he couldn't sing. But we just loved him. We couldn't tell him. Then I did.
What do you mean you
guys are bad friends?
You're bad
man,
friends.
I know. We are the ones who make you go to Tusker Project Fame to audition.
And then you look foolish.
But yeah, like I say that to say like there was no instance where I sang in front of anyone.
But this is kind of a good thing, because now I have another question. As you're going through high school, what is it that you want to do after high school? Because music is definitely not in the plans.
Yeah.
It's not something that you think you're good at.
That's a great
It's not something that you've been told you're good at. So you're planning your life like a normal person.
Yeah.
When I finish high school, what am I going to do? What was it that you were going to do or you were dreaming of doing?
I mean, before, when I was a kid, I used to say I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer.
Hey, sorry.
Kizugumigi.
I didn't even know what that meant. That's like, it sounds fancy.
Yeah.
So aeronautical.
You know, your auntie soon ask you, you should be better. You know, when you say aeronautical engineer, it's a good enough answer.
First of all, they wouldn't even be able to answer that question themselves.
There's no comeback.
With the arrows and the arrows.
I know, but even, and this is where I'm like, our school system sort of failed us. Because when I was in high school, there was no one who saw I was excellent at languages and humanities. Excellent.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I got straight A's in both English and SWA.
Right. Wow. Even SWA.
Even
SWA 844 CBC.
844. Hiyo eleza muktadha wa dondo hili. I would give you the context.
Hey.
Evo.
Pole sana.
I just loved languages. I loved humanities. But it was always looked like you're unambitious, if that's what
because you need to be more scientific, especially as a male.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was pushed to do all sciences. I was pushed to do things that I was not excelling at.
Right.
And so even in high school, I would be like, should I be a journalist? Should I? I was trying, but everyone kind of made it seem like, no, you're not being ambitious enough.
To be a journalist.
Yeah.
Venye ni kazi ngumu.
Yeah, guys were like doctor, lawyer, engineer, pilot.
Yes.
Like that was at least that was the sense that I got from teachers.
Right.
And so in my last year of high school, I used to tell people I want to be a music producer, believe it or not.
For real?
There's no music in my bones. I only have a guitar that I can't play properly.
Right.
But I was like, yo.
Okay, but for you to say you want to be a music producer, who did you know that was a music producer? Right. Had you seen, like, because you can't want to be something you've never seen. Like, you know, like, who was a music? Had you seen? What did you know about music producers at the time?
Yeah, because we're still listening to hip hop. Guys like Dr. Dre,
yes.
Timbaland,
yes,
Pharrell, the Neptunes.
Sweet.
So those were. I loved every song they were pushing out, and I was like, and then someone like Dr. Dre, who was an artist and producer. I was like, yo, and then they were flooding us, like flooding us with music. Then 50 Cent blew up. Then G-Unit came. Then Eminem, like. And you just hear executive produced. Or he produced this track. I'm like, this guy's not sleeping. Like, so I was intrigued.
Yeah.
I wasn't as much as intrigued as being the artist. That was never like.
It wasn't the glamour for
it. But you were saying this to your friends. What were you telling? Did you tell that to your parents?
No.
Because I wanted to know what they would say to that.
No, I didn't tell it to my parents because I don't think I had it figured out. And
nobody does.
And when I finished high school, like I took that gap year trying to figure things out, and I was still getting pressure. Yo, what are you going to do?
No.
You're just in the digs. Yo, what's the problem? So this is how I go to uni. True story. My neighbor is at JQuat. He's older than me. So I tell him, yo, bring me a brochure from your school. He brings it. I look at it. There's IT. There's whatever. So I say, okay, IT sounds cool. So let me go and inquire. So I go to the school, the Westlands campus. Again, Westie.
Hey, when are Westie?
Ulikata kuhama Westie.
Umekata. Yani Westie is in your heart. It's your blood.
Like Westie and education is synonymous to me.
Same was up group.
Just like, So I go there.
Yeah.
The lady tells me, now this IT that you want, it starts next year. So I'm like, what starts in September?
Wait.
She says BCom. I say, okay, give me BCom.
Okay, because of pressure at home, or because you just want to? Okay.
Oh, because you just needed a paper.
Now I want them to keep quiet and tell them, yo, I picked a course.
A course.
So I pay for that application form.
Yeah.
And that lady's like, she's looking at me like, yo, are you sure?
Yeah.
Like,
You came for 18. Now
no.
you said BCom.
Me, I was like, here is the money. Just give me the
Application.
2 weeks later. I got the acceptance letter.
And you were smart. You said you had 2 A's. There's no way you're gonna be denied.
course.
You know, there's people who
In languages.
and you're showing the application. You say, "Hey, says me," but like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's how I got into uni. And uni, I literally did it for my folks.
Yeah.
Like, because at that point, something in me was like, yo, I think there's something in music. I didn't know
what it was, but you're being drawn to that.
I still hadn't
spectrum.
sung in front of anyone.
Mm-hmm.
This is now Gapia imepita.
Yeah, this is now I'm entering uni first year.
Haja. And you still not
and
sung.
I'm like, yo, I think I want to do music.
Yeah.
Like in some form, in some capacity.
Right.
And obviously now I enroll also at the Kenya Conservatory of Music. I start doing guitar lessons, proper guitar lessons.
Because you remember you were looking for a guitar teacher in Form 4,
Exactly.
but you couldn't find.
Exactly. So I get a proper guitar teacher, who I met last week actually.
Shout out to that
Shout
teacher.
out to him.
What's his
Shout
name?
out.
We have to give him a real.
His name is Manasseh Uzele.
Hey, shout out to you.
He's a legend.
Hey.
He's a legend in the
In the
music scene.
Insta.
But yeah, I mean we do proper lessons. I improve pretty quickly. And so
Yeah, because you were playing one song for a year. As in, I feel like it would... Bro, as if for a year you were just there. One song, the same chords.
So you can
throughout.
imagine if I'm doing a weekly lesson.
Yeah, for sure.
And where there's progress and it's being tracked every term. I improve pretty quickly. But I'm still doing this BCom thing.
How you balancing the two? How you balance and there's something I'd love for you to expound, because a lot of people who might be in the situation where they'd like to do music and go down that path, but they're also getting the pressure from home, go to school, get a job. And I'm wondering, the Kenya Conservatory of Music, what is that? Yeah. Explain to us what that is and how you balance going to school and that, because maybe that's a path someone could take and explore their options as well.
For sure. I mean, Kenya Conservatory of Music has been there for a while. They offer both classical and contemporary approaches to different instruments. And they mainly prep people to do what we call the ABRSM exams, which is the Associated Board of Royal Music something exams. It's a London-based exam. Mm-hmm. It's like ICDL, you know how you used to do ICDL, and
the
everyone
packages.
knows your Microsoft like enabled, I guess. So this is I know where you are in terms of playing piano. I know you're a grade 5 ABRSM candidate. So it's just ranking guys and knowing the competence. And so I chose to do the contemporary approach because I had performance in mind. I didn't really necessarily want to be a teacher. And I feel like unless you enjoy classical music or you want to be a teacher, then you should do the examinable ABRSM section. But I want to do performance. I wanted to learn how to play both by sight and by ear. And so that's something I did. And I did it once a week. So you can choose the duration of your engagement.
Lessons, yeah.
Or you can
and it's like school.
It's like school. You could even do a diploma in music. Now those are a bit more
complex.
Full-time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do something full-time just because I'm in school. So I did it once a week and I found it manageable because I'm only committing to like a class for an hour every week. And then uni also, it's not like I'm in school every day. I'd probably be in school 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Sporadic lessons here and there. So it was manageable.
Okay. So on your off day, you would go to this place, do your thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And at this time, I'm still like, I'm in grind mode. Like, it's not like I'm trying to play anywhere. I don't have my sights set on any stage.
Right.
I'm just playing for...
It's a blank
for
canvas.
learning. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah. And that's the best place to be, I think. Right now, I see a lot of young guys who just start and are thinking, yo, Noel, can you get me a gig? And I'm like, bro.
You just started.
You haven't even written one song.
Yeah.
Like, just pace yourself. You know
Pace
what I mean?
yourself.
But anyway, what was the question you asked?
So I was trying to figure out how you're balancing school and then these lessons.
Okay.
Who tells you about the Kenyan school? Who tells you about the place where you can go do lessons?
That's a good question. It's probably one of my friends. I can't pinpoint who.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a blur.
Because we need to understand something, and so does the audience.
Yeah.
Where do you start singing? Because we don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. But like, where do you first start singing?
Yeah. So when I mentioned after school, I'd say this is like 08, 09. When I've taken that gap year and I'm trying to learn guitar, the place that was open and that had available instruments was church.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to go to a church called I guess the names have changed now. Now they go by Sitam Gong.
Okay.
But it was NPC Gong at the time. And
you've thrown us back, NPC.
I know. At the time it was NPC. And when they planted the church, because we lived closer to Ngong than to Karen, we used to go to Sitam Karen.
Right.
So when they planted it, they sort of asked some guys who are part of this Karen
to go there.
Crew,
Of course.
Shikilie. It looks like, look
at these people here, so people don't come to an empty church.
I know.
Yeah.
So my folks were one of those guys. So we moved, and so we were the, I guess,
pioneers.
I guess we were like the first guys. And so there wasn't really a music culture. Now this is where I'm starting to play guitar. This is like the church has been there for like 8 years now.
Yeah.
So now music, guys have grown, music is there, etc. So I used to go there to just play with the music team, not necessarily be on stage, but just hang out with them at rehearsals, see what I can learn. And the keyboard player used to play guitar as well.
You like knowledge? Like you like soaking in knowledge.
I love. I
That's
feel
very
like
interesting.
if you get to a point in life where you feel you can't learn, bro,
it's a tricky place to
very
be.
tricky. You should always be ready to learn.
Yani, you used to give up your Saturdays to go sit in rehearsal.
Let me tell you, I used to go from 8 to 6. Like I'd
full day.
I'd just be watching musicians.
Wow.
Okay. You don't even help. You don't just sit.
Not at can I play next week? Just
to learn.
Watch him. Then when there's a break, I say, how did you hold that? Evo.
Yeah.
And then now when he shows me, I go to my corner with the guitar and I hold that thing until I know it.
How you used to play the Bob Marley song.
Right.
Okay. But that's very interesting. Where did you get, has that always been the way you learn? By apprenticeship, like watching people doing things and then doing it for yourself?
Possibly, yeah. I think I'm a very fast learner. To the point where sometimes I get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Because in life there are some people like there's like you can have, if allow me to use a football reference. Most people might not appreciate this, but you have a Messi and you have a Ronaldo, where they say
yes, they will not appreciate that. Yeah.
They say that like Ronaldo is like super hard work. He doesn't cheat the grind.
Yeah.
That's how he got to the top. And they say Messi also works hard, but he has this natural
ability.
Ability.
Right.
And if Ronaldo didn't work as hard, he wouldn't be on the conversation with Messi.
So they say.
So I feel like with things that I'm passionate about, I'm like a Messi. I'm like there's a natural inclination, and I don't have to work as extremely. I still work hard.
Yeah, but you don't have to work.
But I don't have
hard.
to work Ronaldo hard to be on that level.
Okay.
So that's why the absorption is a little easier.
Only
for things that I love.
Which is a good disclaimer.
Yeah.
Which is
it's not for everything. There's some stuff
you just
really
space
suck
out.
at.
Yeah. Okay. So back to his question. So now you're chapping rehearsals 8 to 6. Gay. On a Sato.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so one of my friends who's now, these guys that I was learning from were a little older than us. But then here comes one of my friends who's I think a year or two older than me. And he's been learning music apparently for a while. So he can play keys really well. He doesn't know guitar, but so we end up jamming with him because obviously we have rapport.
The guitar, there's the keys.
I mean,
Jam
we are
session.
peers. Yeah. Like the other guys I couldn't really hang out with and talk.
Yeah.
He's the first one who I could. And so we start playing in the youth church. Because those guys used to play in the main church.
Right.
So youth church, I mean, the music sucked, but we used to have a good time.
Yeah.
So we start playing, and so one day we are messing around with a song that we are trying to learn. And obviously when you're learning an instrument, you can't play it fluently, you start miming what you're trying to sing. So you're like, no, it's this song. It's and so I used to mime, and that guy used to be like, yo, do you sing?
Okay.
And I'm like, no, I don't sing. What are you talking about?
Uh-huh.
So the next rehearsal, I'd do the same thing, and he'd be like, bro, I think you have a good voice. Like, now he's trying to convince me. I'm like, nah, man.
Maybe he was being like your friend. You remember you guys were telling your friend you could sing.
Exactly. And so I'm like, I don't know, man.
Easy.
But he's the one, he really pushed me. So to make the long story short, there was a Sunday where we used to have like this special, like when special song type thing in the service. And the guy who was supposed to sing it didn't show up. And
your
so
opportunity
my boy
to
is
shine.
like, hey, bro, you know the song, just sing it.
Yeah.
Like, guys will forget about it after this Sunday is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he knew what he was doing.
Of
Like,
course.
I could sing
Smart
it.
guy. Shout out to you, Keys.
Okay.
So I'm like, and his name is Elisha. And I used to call him Elisha Keys. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway,
Wow.
I
Did you
sing the song. I surprised myself as well. It sounded decent, so people are like, "Hiya, this guy can sing." That's the first time I sang, but it was just one-off. Like, I just sang, cool, kept it moving. A year later, we do a talent show. There was a talent show at my church for the youth. And then, so I was encouraged to, get in, and I did it, and I won the talent show.
Wow.
What?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Pole.
Just like that.
Just like you sing once in front of people, then you forget about it the year next.
I know, and I wrote some really crappy song. I can't remember even the melody, but I remember I wrote an original song. Like,
for the talent show.
And you won with the original song.
And I won with the original song. So at this time, my guitar playing is better.
How many people in this talent show? Not you and another person.
No.
Many.
There was a bunch. Because
Okay.
there was some guys who never used to come to the church because it was like a gong thing.
Okay.
And then I remember the prize was, which I never redeemed. I don't know why. But the prize was like, there was a record label, or maybe, let me say, a studio in Ngong called Jomino.
Jomino, of course.
Yeah, Jomino, of course. So guys like DNA used to live in Ngong. All those guys, they were off that stable.
Okay.
And so
I think Steve O'Volts used to be the guy who ran that place.
So Steve, wanted to be like, yo, whoever wins the talent thing, I'll record a song for with them. But I mean, I think it was all cap. It
was a good prize. It was a good idea.
I know, execution wanting. So anyway, then that's when I knew, okay, I have a certain gift. But now the problem with Ngong, or where I was, the music fitted a certain mold.
Yes.
That my voice and my preference didn't. So when you're singing in church and it's super Hillsongy and you're like super R&B, like there comes a time where it's either you keep quiet or you sing what they sing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
which brings the tug of war.
So I mean, and I did sing sometimes, but I never felt like it fully expressed my sound. And so when I began to grow is when I moved churches around 2010, 2011. At the time, with this Elisha Keys guy, we had a band.
Okay.
I don't know if a lot of people don't know this, but I used to be in a band called Ukweli.
Hiya.
Who was in this band?
It was like a 4-person. It was super Sauti Soli.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
were you guys telling the truth?
I hope so.
Okay.
I mean, maybe in my head I'm like, I have good memories, but probably we sucked. Like
Probably.
But it was four guys, me on guitar and vocals, Elisha Keys, and then there's a friend of mine called Moses Wasike, who's my stylist now.
Okay.
And then there's another guy called George who ended up being a pastor.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Ukweli.
Dude can sing, but I don't. He was just never bothered about
it,
like pursuing music and stuff like that. So we used to sing together, and we used to practice at Nairobi Baptist.
This one on Gong Road.
On Gong Road. Now Nairobi Baptist, if you don't know Nairobi Baptist, it's like a hub for. I call it like an art school.
It was cool. Like Bapa was supposed to be like where cool things happen.
Exactly. And the level of musicianship there, I was blown away. Like guys were like super ahead. That's where I met guys like Kato Change,
Shout out Kato Change.
Newman Awar, shout out Newman Awar, guys like Wambura Mitaru,
Shout out to
Lisa Noel, that's where I met her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lisa as well. Guys, go follow,
Go and follow
Lisa.
her Instagram,
She
please.
said when she figures 10K, she's going to drop her project. So it is my mission to make sure by the end of
So
this
that
week.
can happen this week.
It can.
It's
Because she's at
Yo,
9924.
listen.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen.
That's easy. Wait,
Yeah.
she'll drop it for sure.
She said she'll drop as long as she figures 10K.
Oh my god.
That's easy.
Bro, we need
Let me
to
not even
push
check.
this. We need to push it, guys. We need to push it.
That's something important to know.
Yeah, but that's where I met all these guys and started now building a proper young musician core.
Yeah.
That was kind of like now where I felt
At
this is-
home.
yeah, this is my expression fits. That's the first place I felt how I sing
Yeah.
actually works with how everyone
And
else does
sees-
their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I ended up moving there.
I have an unrelated question.
Yeah.
You go to study BCom,
Yeah.
and you said earlier when you like something, it's easy.
Yeah.
But now you didn't even want to do this uni thing to start with. And then the IT that was a bit interesting, you don't do. So now here you are in this program where you're studying something.
Yeah.
How is school going at this time?
I'm killing it, bro.
For real?
Paule.
Surprisingly,
Modesty is alive and well.
no. Surprisingly, like I don't know how to okay, can I say half-ass?
You can. You
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
I don't know how to half-ass things. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to. If we are doing it, let's do it.
Where do you get that from? Because
Yeah.
is it like because I don't know, you're the last born, your older brothers, like do you have
Yeah.
pressure on you? What? Because you're different. I'm trying to understand. Okay, where does this come from? Because you could have said, okay, I'm the spoiled kid at home. You could have said, but you that's not who you are. Something.
Yeah.
What drives you? What is it that's keeping you?
Yeah. I think my folks did an incredible job with making sure we understood how life worked. That A plus B equals C and not A plus. Like, I never got the sense that I deserved things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you saw the sacrifices your parents were making too.
Exactly. And so even like during holidays and stuff, I'd be working in my folks' shop. They had a photocopy shop in town and in Karen. So I knew that they needed to be a grind.
Okay.
Like, life just doesn't happen and you're handed the keys.
Yes.
Like, hey, here you go. And they instilled that in us early. Like, I remember the first time, I'll give you this short story. When I was 6, imagine a 6-year-old kid. So my dad used to have a car. And so on this particular day, the car, he's probably using it somewhere. And me and my mom have to go somewhere. And I innocently asked her, are we going with the car? I won't repeat the answer.
How can you not? Tumengojea hapa.
But yo,
6-year-old you, but you're innocent. You're innocently. You're not a buyer.
It was shut down like, you know the way African mothers tell you, kwani you were born in a car, you know, and then now it just went downhill, like,
It just
like, hey, say no more. But what she was trying to say is, yo, what you have is what you use.
Yeah.
Like, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna have the convenience that you want.
Right.
And so I got that early on,
Yes.
and I don't know. I guess I'd attribute it to my folks, honestly, like, and how I was brought up. Like, I wasn't. We weren't spoiled in any way. Like,
You had to earn everything
you
that
had
you
to
have.
earn everything that you are given.
Which makes you appreciate everything that you do, because again, that's why you can't have asked things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to Bapo, guys are fire, they're moving, you're in it. Now
Yeah.
you can sing. Now you know you can sing.
Yeah.
You've believed you can sing.
Yeah.
You're with it. How do we now start, like, okay, so we're doing commerce, it's going well.
Yeah.
But now you know you can sing. Now you're playing. Now you're not just thinking about music production.
Yeah.
How does your mind now shift?
Yeah. So Bapo was an interesting place because Bapo crowd would tell you if you sucked.
For real?
Bapo crowd is
Wait,
the only.
my dad used to say the best place to learn to sing is in church, because in church, even if you sing, no one's gonna tell you you're a bad
they won't
singer.
tell you exactly.
But these guys were saying, come on in back, and
These guys would look at you like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
and they'd put together like concerts and stuff. And if you bombed, like,
Umebom.
it was palpable in the you could feel that people are telling you it sucked.
Yeah.
And if you did well, like they'd celebrate it because they knew how great art sounded. Now a lot of churches didn't, because there was this thing for church music sucks, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and we are used to it anyway.
Yeah.
So because of that culture, you can't come like shaky.
You have to come correct.
Yeah, you have to come super correct. And there was a culture of building each other up. Like, yo, you did this well, but this is where you lacked. So stuff like stage presence, I learned from guys there. Stuff like how to hide that a musical mistake has happened.
Right.
I learned from there. Just controlling the stage and being confident enough that you're in control even when things are going wrong. Like, you're communicating that, no, that was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You just don't know. Stuff like that I learned from there. And then with this group that I had called Ukweli, we also started writing original music. Small time too. Just self-expression. It was fun getting together, learning harmonies. So I learned how to sing in a group.
Yeah.
Not just as a solo. Because this time I'm not thinking about being a solo guy.
Right.
So all my stuff is singing with people and learning team dynamics and learning temperaments. Like, this guy likes to work for 6 hours. This guy likes to just come for rehearsal for 30 minutes. How do you balance it so that that we actually achieve what we're coming to do? So I learned that early on. And I guess I also learned the power of good songs, because we'd write some songs and guys would just stay.
And the reaction, you see, that's good, because then you see you're writing bad songs and they're like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you're writing bad songs and someone's helping you improve them. It makes you a better artist, a better writer, a better everything.
Exactly. And so one of the last shows, we did a show at Sarakasi, one of my first shows with Ukweli. I forget the name of the festival or whatever. And at the time, Sauti Sol were called Sauti. Then we used to go by Sauti Sol.
Yeah.
And funny story, Polycarp was 2 years ahead of me in uni. He was doing actuarial science.
Hiya. Wow.
So how I met Polycarp, one day I go to the cafeteria and a friend of ours has a guitar. And obviously this time I've been rehearsing. So I grab the guitar and start playing. And guys are playing pool, whatever, guys are chilling. And I see this guy just... he's having convos on the side, but he just keeps standing. He looks at me. At some point, he stands up. He comes. He sits next to me. He's like, hey, my name is Polycarp, blah, blah. Yo, you can play. Like, where do you play? Blah, blah. We have this convo. And he tells me, man, I have this band. It's called Sauti. And I'm like, okay, I should check you guys out. So he takes me to Alliance. So I get also introduced to, like, the culture of jamming at Alliance. And I meet guys like Della, Dempsey. I don't know if you know an artist called Dempsey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dempsey is a sick artist. So anyway, I start seeing, okay, there's guys like me who are outside church who are also killing it and who seem to have a foothold in the industry.
Yeah.
Because Sauti were doing gigs.
Yeah.
They had a very grassroots like following that was loyal.
They'd follow them where they go for gigs.
So I remember even they played even like our fresher, like when we were first year. When I was a first year, he was a third year. They used to have a fresher party. Sauti Sol played, they were the entertainment for the night. So like they had this cabaz going. So this is what I'm seeing at the time. I'm seeing like, okay, this is how I'm improving in the church space. This is the potential we have in the gig space, this acoustic vibe. Because we don't have a band. We're only playing guitars and stuff.
Right.
But they're doing what we are doing and I'm seeing them get gigs.
I have a question.
Yeah.
At this point where you're at, you're playing music live, you're seeing what's out there. What are you listening to? What's influencing you? Because the church music was not relatable.
Yeah.
Exactly to where you were at.
Yeah.
You have this R&B kind of soul background or vibe that you like, but like, do you have influences or stuff you're listening to at that point as you're trying to figure this Ukweli out, everything?
I guess. Who was I listening to most at the time? Kenyan wise, DJ's vintage Swahili album is still a top 5 album in my books.
Wow.
Hari Kimani had an album called Unborn. And he had some tracks there with Bamboo and Attitude, who were 2 rappers. So that R&B hip hop mix, I really loved. There's an artist called Kanji Mbogwa.
Shout out to Kanji for sure.
And he was killing it, especially like in the live space. He used to do like gigs at Kani every week, I think, called Live at the Village. They were doing like concept gigs, like Siju Kanji versus Eric,
Yes.
like showdown type gigs. Like I felt like they were super revolutionary, like with what they had.
Yeah.
Who else? Kenya internationally. Who am I listening to at this time? India Ree, Lauryn Hill.
Of course.
Yeah, a lot of soulful. It's not mainstream. Now I've moved away like from the super mainstream R&B.
Yes.
And now I'm going to like the soulful
You're
stuff.
You're picky now.
I'm becoming
Yeah.
picky. Exactly.
I can tell. Even you don't listen to the pop R&B.
Right.
Yeah.
You listen to very when you're saying
Contemporary.
like even the album. Yes.
Exactly. So that's the stuff, I guess, sprinkling me with inspiration.
Right.
But this time I'm still not like, should I be an artist?
Actually, let me take you back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because you're a singer-songwriter. And for this talent show that you did, you said you wrote an original.
Yeah.
Then we fast forwarded to you guys with Kina Okweli, and you guys as Okweli are starting to write original tracks. So how did you now mix in songwriting? And if I got the story right, you started writing before you knew you could sing.
Yeah.
How did that?
You know, it's easy to write when you're part of a group because you're hiding behind
the image of the group.
Right. And it's easy to write something that works for you that might not necessarily work for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So some ideas that may fall flat if it's me executing may work in a group setting.
Okay. Such as?
So like if I write, let's say if I write in Sheng, for example, and I was the one executing it, like, but if, let's say I give it to Savara.
Yeah.
Like Savara would kill the execution
for sure.
more than I would, right? So if we're in the same group, no one would tell that I wrote it.
Okay.
It's just a group song.
I see.
It's about the execution at the end of the day.
Okay.
Like even an idea, it's not the idea can be you can have a good idea, but you can't execute it. But someone else can execute that idea. But I don't know if I'm
exactly. And so I feel like even in the Ukweli days, we didn't write much, but the primary writers were Elisha and myself. And we would write, and when we would perform, you'd not know who's
Andy card because execution has been okay.
And
so
my strength was always like verses, like
okay.
even to date, I don't know if I write like super strong hooks.
Yeah,
like a hook is, I feel like I'll have to like, whoa, what's the hook? But like the verse, I'll write it in minutes. The bridge, I'll write it in minutes. But now, the hook. So
to bring it together.
So now Elisha was good with like the hooks, like melodic phrases that stick to people in people's heads.
Yeah, since we're on this topic, before we go back to what we were talking about, what's your creative writing process as a songwriter? You said you're a guy for verses and you can write it in minutes. So when you're walking, because songwriters are guys who write songs when they're walking, breathing, sitting, eating, whatever. What's your process like?
Yeah, my process for a long time has been. It has to be off music. I have to be playing at least a chord progression or something musical, then add melody to the music.
Okay.
That was me for, I'd say, my first 5 years as a solo artist. And then it moved to now, you move to the place now where you start collaborating with people and people are sending you music. So
okay. So they've already done that.
So they've done the music and now you have to write to what
they've already done,
what their music is telling you. You know what I mean? So now my I had to come out of my rigidity for no, I have to pick up my guitar and write and be flexible with he actually the way he executed the music is way better than I'd done. And it's brought out these melodies that I didn't know I had. So now it's morphed to the point where like I can write in any fashion, whether it's musically inspired or not, whether it's just a melody that comes and my voice note is full of, and if I ever lose my phone, I can cry.
You are so many people. Everyone who comes here, they're just like, hey, my phone. I just,
my voice note has probably like 2 albums worth of ideas.
Okay.
I'm just like, half the time, I'm just like,
Have you backed it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to. Like
cloud backup.
Hey, you have to.
Because ukipoteza.
I usually say if it's not saved in 3 places, it does not exist.
3 places.
3 places.
3 places.
You have 2 hard disks and a cloud.
And a cloud. Minimum.
Yeah.
Wow.
So from what I'm hearing so far is with the guitar, I think it's, forgive me and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's what gives you the confidence. Because even for you to be sitting in school and you're just comfortably playing, you've become the guy who has the guitar at all. You get comfortable with the guitar, and you get to a place where you can play well, and you can even play the things you're hearing, your ideas, and you're comfortable with the guitar. Does it give you the confidence to become the artist that you start to become?
Yeah, you're right, man. I look at music like I liken musical skills to superhero skills. Like, you know, like when you're watching a Marvel movie, and then when two Marvel characters meet and they're like, you're one of them. Yeah. You know, that's how musicians are. Like, that guy plays guitar.
Yes.
Okay. So the better you play it, the more your superhero level is.
Of course, because the other superhero is going to be impressed by you too.
Right. And it does give you that confidence because it's not an ability everyone has. Yeah. Right? But those who have chosen to go that path and improve, they appreciate it more. But it's an ability that's appreciated by even people who don't know music. Right? Music is that thing that can
universal language.
A non-musician, they don't know what's going, but they know it's moving them. Yeah. So that's why I feel like it's like a superpower. It's like
actually, let me ask. You brought up a very interesting concept. You just said that those who've chosen to pursue it past an ability. So is music a skill? Or is it an ability or a talent? Which is it?
Yeah, I think it's a mix of both. It's definitely a mix of both because I know some people personally who have, for example, purposed to learn guitar and have been learning one chord for like 4 months. Yeah. You know, I guess their natural ability isn't that great. And they're not putting in the time to compensate for that. And then there are other guys who you show them one thing once and they run with it and then it morphs into another expression and you're like, whoa, that's not even what I showed you. Yeah. So like, how did you do there's a balance where you have a natural inclination, but music it's extremely hard work. And I think because music is a thing that communicates fun and entertainment, people think that it comes easy. Like I just woke up and the song came. Yeah, and the chords put themselves together. They don't know how to practice. You're practicing at minimum 4 hours. Yeah, like
even if it's your song.
In my formative days, I'd practice guitar 4 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know guys who'd practice 8, and those guys are way more proficient than I ever will be. So there's
8 hours with 8 hours. Guitar.
Like you guys know Aaron Rimbui?
Yes. Oh,
Aaron used to play 8 hours a day.
On the keys.
8 hours.
Okay, no wonder he's that.
Just
you see,
playing scales, fingering, figuring out movements, stuff like that. Yeah, he'd play 8 hours a day.
And that's really important because I remember like when I tried to make music, my grandfather was like, musicians are just jokers, just people who make noise. You see, people don't see the hard work behind what it takes to become a musician. You get a song for 3 minutes, you don't get to understand the 6 hours a day or the 8 hours a day, how much work people put in to become. Because, even when we hear your album, it's an amazing album, but we don't understand the 10,000 hours you've had to put in before you get to the point where you're good and you can share that and people even can acknowledge that. Yeah. Because even like your family, they didn't know you had a talent. Exactly. But now at the point where, now you're going to church, you're playing gigs, you're writing songs. What do they think? Yeah. At the point where you are at now, you are like, okay, they're seeing you go to church on Saturdays and spending your whole day there. Yeah. They're seeing you go to different places. Did they understand or did they see, what were they thinking of you at that point?
Yeah. I think the shift happened because they don't mind you going and hanging out with your friends.
Especially in church.
Yeah. I mean, if you're doing musical related stuff or church related stuff, blah, 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 anything that's keeping you off the streets, I guess, or off mischief. They don't mind. I don't think there's any parent that's like, no, why are you going there? The first question they ask you, who are you going with? And if you say so and so, they're like, mnenda kuvuta bangi. Like they just know. They know your friends and they know who's mischievous and who's.
And parents always know the bad friend.
They always
you can refuse and argue with but your mom or dad will always know that's bad company, that's good. You might not see it as yourself, but they can tell.
Exactly. So they won't be opposed if it's something that is constructive, keeping you busy. And so they weren't opposed to that. I think where the shift happened is when I finished uni, you do your compulsory attachment internship, whatever. So I did one at an insurance company. And I did it for like 3 or 4 months. And that solidified for me that I don't want to be an 8 to 5. Yeah.
That was it.
I was
That's
like,
actually your marker. When you go for that atato, that's when you know, by the way.
That's unfair. Why do you have to wait for 4 years to figure out you don't need to do something?
No, because now
It's
you
unfair.
see. No, but the uni culture, you're not really in uni. You see, like, for instance, what you were saying, he didn't have class throughout the week, and then he would go to Conservatory to learn. So you're not really paying attention to these. There's a lifestyle here in Nairobi.
But it's an illusion. It's an illusion.
You're in Campo, but you're not really in Campo.
Yeah.
But where you have to report 8 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be there on someone else's time. Always the talker. You can't see your buddies. You can't.
yeah, because Campo, even there are some guys who would only come when there's a cut.
Exactly.
Of course, nisainie.
That's it. So what
But
is
like,
Campo?
so many people figure atacho and they're like, hey, this is not for me. This is not, and I love because it's like, yo, the whole 4 years umesoma. You didn't know that the whole time.
No, because also are you even going to class? Even if you go to school, you might go. You sign, then you chomoka. Like me, because of strat, you have to be. Yeah. So me, I'd go at sign when the register is going around. I come, I sign, I go sit somewhere else. I go to this guy. What's his name? This guy for Nairobi West, and we just chill the whole day. Banga is saying, so mad, you know. How would I know? When you go and sit 8 to 5, and it's not your time, you're on someone else's time, for sure.
You're preaching.
Will use the insurance.
I was like, bro, because I was doing paperwork, you know.
Oh yeah, you're pushing paper. Yani you come in, it's the same character. So you move it from here to over here.
Someone just comes, oh, nataka insurance ya third party. Bro, I was a pro at that stuff, but I was like, yo, this
And then you who's good at everything, you know. So far, there's nothing you've been bad at. You've not been bad at anything. So I'm imagining you're bad at something finally.
Let me tell you, this guy is going to be those parents who will tell the kids, me, you know, I was number one in everything.
Yes.
You give me
And then
something,
I come
I'm
with
number one.
receipts.
Joy report card.
Utadu.
So now you're finally bad at
So
something.
yeah, so I'm like, I definitely don't want to do this.
Right.
And so my folks at the time, you know, all parents are like, yeah, you know, Auntie Nani knows so and so who can get you a job.
Those aunties and uncles.
You know, those aunties who
Where are they?
Where are they? What do they do for us, please?
Who so and so's who's up in the corporate ladder who can get you a entry level something somewhere, you know. So I started getting that pressure for Jobo. You know, give me your transcripts. You know,
CV.
And me, I'm like, hi Jobo. I don't think I'm gonna do it. But I imagine I went for those meetings. I went.
Yeah. At least Uli show up.
I showed up.
Yeah.
And there was one of those two uncles. Okay, it's not really an uncle, but he knew my dad.
That's an uncle as well.
He sidebarred my dad and said, "Hey, huyo anataka tu kufanya muziki." Like,
what?
Imagine.
He snitched on you.
Yo, my ex-girlfriend, she got the perfect interview up the road. Some nice partnership firms.
Yeah.
She went for the interview. She's gotten to the point where the uncle has come through. The interview's been done. They've advertised the job. They're giving it to her. She goes and says, I came for the interview, but I'm not going to do this job.
Ooh.
What? And then they called the dad.
Oh, yeah.
We have even written, they had the paper. You see that paper there?
Yeah.
It was written, we have given you the job, even before interview.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not doing the job.
Dang.
Wait.
Like, KPMG, CG what? No.
Nothing.
As in how?
Nothing.
You know, like your parents will they just isha.
I think so. And so it ended up not panning out.
Panning
like
out.
those.
So how's the conversation
time,
with the folks?
With the folks, this is what I decided to do.
And they didn't know? Did they genuinely not know?
They had an inclination. But now, once I finished uni, I'm like super involved in music and I'm obviously better. So I decide that I have to be financially free from my parents. Because I think...
Which is important.
I think one of the fears parents have when your kid wants to do something creative is that, this girl will always be in my house eating my bread.
Yeah.
Like
and I'll have to continue working to feed them.
He's going to be here at 25 and like
mtoto amekataa kutoka kwa nyumba.
Amekataa.
he's just he's going to be an old man here.
Yeah.
He'll be in his
But
30s.
honestly, for them, they used to see the people who tried arts, and that's what happened.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
You hear, oh, you know that one is still in the house at 40.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that was the fear.
Exactly.
There was no Sauti Solo Soul generation, guys
Yeah,
driving
for
nice
sure.
cars, living in nice homes.
Yeah.
It was that one tried, and now look at them.
Exactly.
Look at your uncle who tried that. He's still in the. So there was fear. And parents, honestly, your parents love you.
Yeah.
Then no parent wants that the worst for their kid. So for them, they're just afraid of you not being able to.
And there was also the inclination that you'll only play in dingy dark bars.
That's your target audience.
Yeah, like just dimly lit bars.
Yeah. So where things happen in the dark.
Yeah, some guy is taking a chile in a corner and you're the one providing the soundtrack. Hey, your folks are just like,
Not my child, not my
is
son.
that why you went 4 years of BCom? They're like, Z, no. But anyway, so I decide that, I'll stop asking them for chums. Like, if I don't have money, I won't leave the house. I'll practice. When I have money, I'll go. So I became financially
independent
and stopped putting those burdens on them. Then around this time, like 2012, I auditioned also for Berkeley. Berkeley are doing African auditions.
Yes.
They want, obviously, as all American schools want, to have this look that they're
all
diverse,
inclusive,
right? All inclusive and diverse. And so, because to get into Berkeley, you have to fly to Boston and do the interview and audition there.
Yeah.
It was pricey for like students from Asia and Africa
to move.
So they set up Kenya as a base.
Oh, okay.
Where if you're an African student, you can come to Nairobi and audition. And they'll fly the Berkeley guys here, etc. So I audition, I get a partial scholarship. I'm like, okay, that was cool. It's still very pricey. It's at the time it's like, even now it's probably like 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
Minus a few things.
Accommodation. Auna flight. Aujalipa visa
like,
applications.
You're just like, hey. So even that, I think the scholarship was like what? I think they were paying for like a quarter or something. Like, I think they were offering like $12,000 or something. So I'm like, bro, I still don't have.
Umemaliza university tunataka kurudi shule.
Yeah. I'm like, so anyway, so I end up not going, but I get the sense that if one of the best schools in the world, like says, we want to invest in you.
Yani, imagine.
Then, bro, you're not in over your head thinking that you should be doing the music thing.
What did you do for the audition?
I auditioned voice actually.
Okay.
What did I sing? What did I sing? I cannot remember what I sang. Because you do like a prepared piece, and then they take you through like ear training, rhythm interpretation training, sight reading. They give you a piece of paper to perform the music that you've never seen before. And then there's an improvisation section where he plays like 12 bar blues, and you scat over the changes.
It's not a joke.
It's really not a joke. So first of all, to pass through that interview, then actually pass, then get a partial scholarship does mean indeed like
and
you're talented.
And I'm like, looking back, like that's super raw talented, because I was like, did
you even know how to read music at this point?
Like, okay, they give you the piece like 10 minutes before. Like, I could identify notes, but I couldn't read music like...
Right, because you're not going to any music, whatever, except for Conservatoire.
Even the Conservatoire.
Yeah, contemporary ndio ulifanya. Ulisema
uday tablature. I don't know if there's a musician listening, they know what tablature is. It's like the sight reading for guitar.
Yeah.
So like now this one, I've never been given a voice piece before.
Right.
Like,
and you're supposed to play.
I'm like, here, the guy is playing the piano. Your notes are in front of you. You're like, bro. So I was very novice. Like, so I'm surprised that, well, not surprised, but the natural talent is, I think, what they saw.
Yeah.
Like if I was to do that interview, that audition now, I'd crush it, because I've had like
experience,
10 years of learning. But anyway, that kind of gave me the sense that, okay, you're not in over your head. So 2012 is kind of now when I'm in Bapo, I'm playing in the same band with Kato.
Yes.
And these twin brothers
Zama
Zam
and
and
Shaq.
who are the sons of the legendary
Jack
Shaq and
Odongo.
Jack Odongo. So Jack Odongo is also a guy who used to give us a lot of wisdom, still does to this day.
Yeah.
Because he's like a folklore type
Of human
image. Like he's this guy for this used to happen and
Bro, he was in African heritage.
Exactly.
He can tell you stuff you can't even believe that happened in bro.
Exactly. He used to tell us how he'd go on tour with African heritage. I'm like, bro, you were touring in the 80s.
In Europe, not you tour carnival.
Like
tour.
I'm like,
proper tour.
That's possible.
Yeah.
I was like, even where we were in the 2010s, I'm like, there were no musicians touring.
Yeah.
Like, who was touring?
Where?
Touring Ilianza Juicy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm with these guys, and obviously the dad has a studio, and so their older brother is producing a lot, and he was producing Fena at the time.
Yes.
So Fena's first single was called Down, and she was in USIU, I think, with Kato. And so I'm listening. I'm like, Yanni, there are guys my age who are making music. So that's my first introduction to like,
Oja ingia studio before this, by the way?
No.
This whole time? Ata Berkeley,
like
nini.
Alikata kwenda hiyo studio.
Like to
Ila Jomino.
Yeah, Jomino. Alisema sidai, I won the talent show, but
actually there is a studio I've been to.
Which was the first studio?
I realized when I was doing the Berkeley thing, I needed a demo.
Okay.
Because everyone I would be like, yo, where can we get like funding? Guys would be like, how do you sound? So someone linked me, Wambura.
Okay.
Shout out to her.
Her brother,
Blackman?
Yeah, her
Blackman
brother-in-law is Blackman. And he was producing a lot of, A-Star, Riga, those guys that we loved. And I
think it was out of Kanji studio, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly, Kijiji. And then he opened his own studio. At the time, it was in Rongai. So he said, yo, I can do your demo for you. So I pulled up and he recorded me. And he's a guy that I actually used to just watch.
Okay.
Like, I think the first time I saw Logic, the DAW, was him. And so
what did he think of? Like, okay, so now you've been in church and you're performing live and guys have seen you and they like it. But now in a studio, does the producer think you're anything special? Like, was he impressed? Or
yeah,
okay.
I mean, Blackman is the guy he can't waste space. You know, like a photographer who's like, yo, the pose is not right. I'm not gonna waste the film.
Yeah,
that's how
get the pose right and then
Blackman is like, if you're singing badly, I can't press record. Like,
really,
he can't record a bad singer.
For real.
Standards,
and I don't think I've met a. If you meet a producer,
because the guys will just record you for the sake. They're getting paid. They don't really care if you sound
and
good
those
or bad.
guys, if you notice, will hide their moniker, like their tag, like they'll just do it for the money. Like there is no producer that I know who, with their chest, will produce a bad musician.
No,
like,
and they
write produced by.
Can never be them.
It'll just be like something productions, like some obscure name.
Yo, when the time I went to get a song from the producer, he wasn't there. So he's like, yeah, go to the computer. I'm like, where's the folder? The folder was trash. Inside my song was in the folder trash. So, and there's many other songs. And that's what I'm telling myself. But like,
controlling himself.
But Mandem had a whole folder of trash songs. He didn't care. Like, I didn't to him, it was like, yeah, this is biz, bro. We get 2K or 3K, we keep it moving. But like, there's guys who are not like Blackman, as you're saying.
Right.
Exactly. And at the time, I don't think he was producing a lot of artists. Like, he was doing a lot of commercial work.
Right.
He was producing his wife, definitely, Sarah Mitaru. But I don't think he was producing a lot of artists. So he was happy to do the demo for me. We didn't record music with him. That was just like a hit and run.
Okay.
Like, I get my demo, I go. So when I'm with the Odongos now is when I'm like, this is like the first time I'm seeing
a proper production.
Studio, like how artists record. Oh, he's mixing. What is mixing? He's mixing the song. Oh, that's what you have to do before you release. Like now I'm learning small intricacies outside of live performance. Right? And live band stuff. Yeah. And so at this time also, I've gotten Logic because you're around guys. Yeah. You mess around the studio. You want to go and do it at home. And obviously...
And of course it's you.
It's a cracked version.
Cracked, not a proper one.
But anyway, so end of 2012, they're doing this Freedom mixtape.
Riga
and A-Star are doing this Freedom mixtape. And I don't know why I was there. I can't remember. I don't know if...
Right.
I can't remember why I was there. But anyway, I used to hang out in the studio for a while.
As you're learning.
As I'm learning, stuff like that. And then on this 1 week, Riga is away. Riga was point for this thing, for this project. Riga is away. And they had this ambitious thing of dropping a song a week.
Yes, I remember that.
A fully produced song that didn't exist, starting from scratch. So record same week, mix, master, drop.
Yeah.
And so week 7, I remember very well, Riga wasn't there. And so I go to the studio and Jazz is like, yo, can we do a song? We need a song for this week.
Yeah.
And so I play these chords. He makes this beat. And it ends up what is brand new, what the song brand new is. And then I just rapped on it. It's horrible now. I can't listen to that song anymore. But Riga listened to it and he's like, yo, I think we should put this out.
Yeah.
Because I was just rapping like for, just, yo, we made a beat, let me rap. And then maybe Riga now would jump on it and make his own song. But he listened to the verse and
kind of like laying the idea of the song.
Exactly. But he listened to it, he's like, bro, I think you should finish the song. Finish the song.
Right.
So we finished the song. We also did another song there called Sound Mind, which was a Riga song, and I sang on that one. And then I missed also a point in the live scene. We've been doing shows. There was a series of shows we did called Acoustic Worship, where it was me, Kato, a bass player who always changed every gig. And a drummer called Mathayo. Mathayo plays for a band called Gravity. There's no
Gravity band.
The reggae band. So he was our drummer. So he had this idea where he didn't like the idea that people considered worship as this soft kind of type singing, and
hallelujah,
it's only a singer who could do it.
Yeah.
So he was like, yo, if we are playing music and we're playing for people and and we're using our gifts, it's to the glory of God. So he said, let's do this gig. And so the deal was we never repeat content in the concert.
Yeah.
And we everyone brings 2 songs each.
Okay.
So it forced me to start writing original music.
Right. Now as a solo.
As a solo artist.
Yeah.
Not hiding behind anyone.
Yeah.
And so at the tail end of this Freedom mixtape thing, one of the songs that I did in one of those gigs, I felt was kind of well received. So that ended up being my first single. It was called Have Your Way.
Have Your Way.
So I started at home, and I used to come now to the Odongos to listen to it with proper monitors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Jazz had it and he was like, yo, can I finish the song for you? Like, re-record your vocals properly, because I never had a mic. So he helped me finish the song. Yeah. So that was kind of my first single.
So I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
The first project that you put out, at least that I see, is the one you put out in 2013. And the reason I really, really like the project is because, for me, you title it My Kind of Music. And even before you got here, we were talking about this. What's unique about you is that as much as you're making Christian or gospel or spiritual music, it's your way.
Yeah.
So I love that. I feel like it's a perfect introduction into getting to know who Noel is. If you're trying to get to know who this artist is, what kind of music does he make, it's your take on it. It's your type of... Explain that, because that's an amazing way to introduce yourself, especially considering the route you choose to take. Because you could have done the set book, the structure that everybody expects from the kind of artist.
For sure. But
you chose to do it your way. And I love that you do it your way. And it's unapologetically, because it's like, okay, this is what I'm making, this is what I'm talking about, but it's my way of... This because music is how you express yourself. So you can't express yourself. I can't express myself the way you do, and you can't. So it's like, I love that that's how you choose to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and even the title was very deliberate, saying My Kind of Music. At the time, because now you've started writing music and you're recording, and there are little voices that are kind of telling you, yo, but where is this gonna go? Like, where will this play?
Yes.
Like, who is sounding like this right now? Like, what are you doing? So there was kind of that feedback.
Nobody's ever done this before.
Yeah, guys are like, no, because the model, I guess, was like the mainstream sort of Christian sound, which was the Swahili, Eunice Njeri type.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. I love
Shout
her.
out to me too.
And then there was like now R&B soul.
Mm.
And then there was like Eric Wainaina.
Yeah.
Where you're fusing like, it's like, they called it Afrofusion.
Yes.
Like,
We haven't talked about this. Exactly what you're saying is what
Afrofusion.
we had. Yes.
And I did the same thing. Afrofusion.
yeah,
Like,
and we never know what that meant.
yeah.
We're like, okay, what is Afrofusion? So there was a lot of if you're making the kind of stuff I was making, it was like, no, but you should be doing
You should be doing.
you should be doing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not fair.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, this EP is gonna be called My Kind of Music. Because I want to do what I want to do. Like
Right.
I want to do my kind of music.
Yeah.
And,
And
then
I'm
if
telling
you don't
you,
want to listen to it, it's
ni
fine.
sawa.
There are so many other artists that you could listen to.
Yes. But this is my kind of music.
And I'm sure there'll be a couple of guys who will resonate with it.
For sure.
Well.
So how do you guys receive that project? Because that's from what my research. That's the first project you put out.
Yeah.
How is that received?
The very first project. So now, what's unique about myself is that, and I always tell this to artists, I didn't go the recording route first. I went the live route.
Yeah.
And so I built a grassroots following from either those church days or with these acoustic shows we were doing. And that's where I was testing out the material.
Yeah.
So when it was time like to do the EP, I remember we did an album launch for it on the same day. Right? So the EP is out today, but we did an album launch, Alliance.
Yeah.
And we sold it out. Like,
Wow.
You sold this.
Hey.
Wow.
imagine.
Yani you.
So I'm like,
So that grassroots you're talking about, you actually
Yeah.
built it slowly.
exactly.
Okay.
And that's because, so and so knows you from Ngong.
Yeah.
So and so knows you from Bapo days.
Mm.
Like, they're like, yo, I used to see you when you were jamming on the piano.
Yeah.
And now you have an EP. Bro, I have to come and
I
see.
have to come support.
It
Yeah.
was kind of that grassroots type. And at this time, I've moved to Nairobi Chapel as well.
Yes.
So even there's like a crew there
for
that's
sure.
like, yo, there's this new guy and he's an artist.
Yeah,
Like,
and
let's
then
go
of
check out his
course
gig.
you know so many more people who are doing
Exactly.
live art. So they're also saying, there's this guy, this is my boy, nini come through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so because earlier on, like 2-3 years before, I also did some BGV stints. For a couple of
You what haven't you done? As in nini?
I did, yeah.
You live
'Cause
50 lives.
I'm like at that point you don't have music, but you want to experience stage. You want to
Right.
you want to see how the industry works in terms of performance. And so Nema, who goes by Silayo,
Silayo.
Yes.
I used to
Silayo.
I used to sing for Silayo.
For real?
I even met
You
her
had
last week.
BGV.
Imagine, I met her last week and she's like, "Yo, me and Lisa used to be." her
She's
BGVs.
incredible. Incredible.
Bro,
Even
let
her
me tell
growth and looking at like everything
Let me
she's
tell
done
you.
full circle
Exactly.
from Tatska project. Bro, it's
Exactly.
crazy. It's
Let
crazy.
me tell you,
Yeah.
Silayo is who I want to be when I grow up.
Exactly.
From her energy, her personality, her
She's fierce,
talent,
Her mom was my teacher. Miss Kiriswa.
her performance. Because like Silayo, she
I remember
commands.
we were at a gig with you. Yeah.
Yeah, she even started crying.
I remember.
I
remember.
was just like, oh my God.
I remember,
girl.
but her,
Yeah.
and then there was another artist called Webby.
Shout out
Yeah,
Webby.
oh,
There's a song Webby did. No, it's like almost like a love. Webby's amazing.
He had a
Yes.
whole love project.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
won the
did.
Airtel thing, but before the Airtel song, there's a song he had that I used to Webby's
Exactly.
amazing.
So
Right.
I used to play shows with him and sing like background stuff,
Right.
just learning from them. And so on my show, like the launch, I got
Yeah.
Webby and Nema to like be part of the show.
Watch your jokes.
Yeah.
wait.
So guys were like,
From
who-
BGV too.
guys were like, who is this dude? At the
Yeah.
gig is featuring Webby, Nema.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. Make it make sense.
It wasn't mixed.
It's
making
not
sense.
mathematicking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we had a good show, man. I still have footage from that show as well.
Yeah.
And I think it was well received. It was a good introduction.
Okay.
Like
Of
I didn't
who
have
you
any
are.
expectations with that record.
Right.
I was not like, yo, we need to have X amount of airplay or it needs to go where. I was just like, yo, we're just doing music.
Yeah, and it's out.
It's out.
And I have these people, and I'm introducing me for me and my sound.
Exactly.
Off air, before we started, I asked you a question.
Mm.
I asked you, what do you do besides music? And you said this is all you do.
Yeah.
So, and that's a scary thing, but also an amazing thing because I'm happy that you're able to do music and you're able to provide for your family and do everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
So now in this 2013, after you've dropped this EP, you've been able, you're doing a lot of gigging. So you're able to do gigs and, do what you need to do. I'm wondering, at this point, you've decided, okay, clearly you're not, the attachment showed you're not a paper pusher, you're not a desk jockey. That's not your lane.
Yeah.
You're committed to music now.
Yeah.
Now the EP's out. you're fully in. There's no I'm dipping my toes in the water. Like you're in Dani.
Yeah.
And this is the path you're taking.
Yeah.
Is that scary at the point that you're at? Because now you see you've finished uni.
Yeah.
You're now an artist. You're gigging. You've done BG. Like you're putting yourself out there. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Were you afraid? Is it working out? Is God showing you favor? How is that moment for you? Like what are you going through? Because it couldn't have been easy.
Right. It's a mix of, I guess, fear and excitement. Because you don't know how things are gonna go, but you have crazy amount of zeal that it's gonna work. You know, like when you're excited about something, like I'm sure when you guys started Radio 254, like it looks intense, but you're like, yo, me, I know we are going somewhere because there's like a vision I've seen about it, and so that I feel like that's how it is for artists as well. Like we don't know exactly the path, but we're like, yo, there's somewhere this thing can go.
Kuna mali tunaenda, it's not a dead end.
Exactly. And so at the time, I'm also not very married to the fact of being a solo artist.
Like, and throughout your career, you still like going back to bands.
Yeah.
Or shikanaing with people and doing different projects with them.
I mean, at the time, I guess I needed to grow in some aspects before I could fully dive into
being a solo artist.
Because like, as he mentioned, like going full-time kabisa, that was like from my... like 2016-ish, 2015-16 is when I was like... And
you started this journey in 2012.
Yeah.
So that's 4 years.
So in that period, I had a job. I was music directing for Nairobi Chapel.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I didn't have the pressure to have like performances every week. And so I took that time to learn sort of just performance. And I was doing a lot of background work as well. I used to play for Kagwe Mungai.
Oh.
Yeah. I used to play for Karun. I used to play for Mayonde, for Riga. I was Riga's music director. So I was music directing live performances for other artists.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Other artists who were...
Is that through MIS when you were doing the...
Karun was through MIS.
Okay.
Was Kagwe through MIS?
Because Kagwe, I feel like... Okay,
I don't know. But Karun for sure was through MIS. Riga, I think just because of friendship.
Yeah.
And then you guys had the Undugu EP.
Yeah.
Which was super dope.
Yeah.
How did that like even happen?
But that was 2018. So that was like after years of friendship.
Okay.
I just used to play for him. Riga kind of just saw what I had and felt like it could work with his sound.
Shout out to Riga.
Yeah, a lot of artists.
Because Riga's sound is very different.
Yeah.
It's not like... Riga doesn't sound like anybody else.
Riga is like our Drake, bro.
Yes.
Like, he's like, he can sing, he can rap, he produces well. And so... And I love hip-hop. Like, hip-hop is like...
because of your bros.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when
your foundation is hip-hop.
Yeah.
Someone asks you, yo, can you band direct my hip-hop performances?
You can't
say no.
Yeah, you just can't.
You can't say no. And then it was in tandem with what I was doing at the church, which is live music direction.
Right.
So, and I was like, I need to experience both worlds so that I can see, is there any professionalism I can borrow from both worlds into my own skill set?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this is how I see Blankets put together their shows. What can I learn about event production there? Okay. My church is doing a conference. This is how they've coordinated 1,000 people in 3 days. Okay.
Yeah.
What can I learn about that here? So that was like my learning.
The best of both worlds.
Exactly. And I was just taking notes. And I was enjoying the music because these artists were more established than I was.
Oh, for sure. So you're also learning tips and tricks of the trade.
I'm seeing how they are controlling crowds.
You're a great apprentice.
Yeah, I'm seeing
you
how...
guys he studies. You know, like, you think he's just there, but like he's there. He's learning.
Yeah.
Why does he like soaking up energy? I mean, like knowledge like this.
Exactly. I'm just seeing how they, you know, what music works for them, how they're arranging their sets, how they are dictating energy within sets.
Yeah.
Right? Where they had their cry moment, where they had their energetic moments, how it pieced together into one solid set.
So also seeing how like a whole, like the behind the scenes of how to create a proper, like how to create energy in a live performance.
Exactly.
Because it has to go up and down. It can't just be on the same
And I'm also seeing other artists that I don't play for.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing what is not working for them. Like you see an artist play a set and it bombs.
Yeah.
And now I can identify why
it's bombing.
Right?
Bro, this guy, you know, when I clicked for me, this guy's gone. He's onto something. When he said like the album, the first one, he gigged it, built his grassroots,
Yeah.
and then he recorded it.
Yeah.
You know, like guys will write the whole songs and then they'll go record it and then they'll try to gig it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if you perform the songs
First.
you know what to change, you know what to tweak, you can make the song better.
Exactly.
But you see, if you just write the songs and then you go record it, you don't know how
People
will
will
yeah.
perceive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like my mind is like, okay, this is it.
And that's what I tell young artists all the time.
Right.
Because my DMs are always full of, yo, can you help
Advice.
me with record?
Yeah.
And it's always, I want to record. Yo, can you get me with that guy? It's like they think it's just one move.
Yeah.
That'll be the
It's
chess
like a
move.
call, connection, upper.
And I'm like, bro.
It didn't work like that.
And so when I start probing, you start finding out, yo, they're actually just starting.
Yeah.
And so some of them feel like it's a rejection when I tell them, yo, actually build with the musicians around you. Like Isare is the one who says this, like network across. Don't network
Up.
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Because it's easier
Like this.
If we're like
Yeah.
this and we come,
And we're growing together.
you know,
Because the guy
Sure.
up here doesn't see the value you're adding to him.
Exactly.
But then us guys can see, oh, I add value this way, I add
Yep.
value this way, and then we can
Yep.
build
Exactly.
together.
Yep.
We can build upwards together.
Yep.
exactly.
I want to ask you a question that's really deep. I don't know, it's in my mind and I want to know how you do it.
Yeah, okay.
You play in church, but then you're also able to be in settings which is not necessarily church,
Yeah.
but you're the same Noel
Yeah.
in both settings.
Right.
How do you get to the point where, okay, I understand myself, I understand my craft, I understand my gift and my talent, and I know I'm supposed to share this, but you're not at T, oh, I can't do that gig because this, or I can't teach you. And even go to the point where you come to the guy who was just watching, now you're able to teach others. I'm really intrigued at how you survive in those situations, because how, like, you know, like, I think it might take a lot of understanding of yourself. I don't know how you're able to do it, and I'd love to know, because there's a lot of people who we want to be maybe musicians or artists and maybe be out there, but then there's things, I don't know, like maybe I can't, maybe I'm in church, so how do I balance that? Or maybe I can't be out, and how do I don't, I'm wondering how you balance it, because that's something that I feel like you do really well, or you've done really well, but I don't understand how. So I'd love for you to talk to us about that.
Yeah. This is how
There's no box. I don't think we can put you in a box.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. This is how I look at it. I don't look at life as I don't look at it in sections. I don't look at life in sections. Like, okay, this is my church life, and this is my gig life, and I understand that there are sections. Like for example, now I have a family, so like that I look at that like my personal life, right? I do understand there's sections, but it's funny that everyone understands that except when it comes to musicians. So like, for example, I'll give an example. I played a gig once at the Hub, and then this guy walks up to me after the gig, and he's nice tipsy. You know that kind of nice tipsy? The one for the one where you're just happy. Like,
Yeah.
It's not like you unasumbua sana, but you're
Yeah.
just buzzed enough.
Yeah.
And he's like, Noel, like, I know you from my church, bana.
Yeah.
It's like, so you're going to church tomorrow. So he was kind of insinuating, like, I don't get how you're playing here
Yeah.
and you're going to be in church tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I was asking him, bro, but aren't you here as well? Like,
Yeah.
then I asked him, so I asked him, hey, bro, do you work in a Christian organization?
Mm-hmm.
He said no. So I said, okay, but you understand when you go Monday to Friday to work that you're still a Christian.
Right.
Okay, so why do you want me to only play in a Christian event?
Yeah.
So if I come here and I'm working,
Yeah.
which I am,
Which
'cause
is
I need
exactly
I need to pay my bills.
right. Just like you.
Then you need to drop the double standard. And when you go to the bank teller, you ask, are you a Christian? If you're not a Christian, don't serve me.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you go to the mat, like don't just put the double standard on me.
As
That,
the musician.
why are you playing at K1?
Ah.
When you go to non what we call secular
Yes.
organizations and work freely, and yet your conviction doesn't change. I feel like it's a double standard that you can work in a organization that doesn't honor God, right? But you understand that ni job. I work at EABL. Cool.
Yeah.
You make your money, but you're still a Christian. But somehow you're shining your light. But me,
I'm
when
not,
I play
I'm
the
dimming-
EABL
I'm
sponsored
dimming
gig,
that, yeah.
right? Now
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that's a weird understanding of what the gospel is.
And that's what we were talking about before we started, because it was like, okay, you're allowed. Gospel asks, I suppose, they can't be human They can't be human. Like they can't. You can't have any. You can't. Like, bro. Like it doesn't make sense.
It's true. And
that's why I'm like, because then if you do that, then the church is gonna ostracize you, or like people will judge you, and it's like, how do you? I'm confused because how does one balance that? How does one be? Exactly. How do you be yourself and do what you need to do? Because you're still a Christian. Because Christian is Christ-like.
Yeah.
Your actions, but like it doesn't mean because you did a show.
Yeah.
Because you did a show, you did BG. Let's say Banner Boy calls you.
Yeah.
And he tells you, Noel, I want you to come and do show.
Yeah.
You go do show. And then now you can't go to church because you did a Banner Boy show.
Right.
Or Adele wants you to do BGVs. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, and like what you said about people being human, it's important sometimes to re-emphasize that. Like I did an EP, a Love Sessions. It
was amazing.
Love Sessions EP, right?
It was amazing.
And it's just a bunch of love songs, right? And someone asked me, almost insinuated like, I kind of like it more when you do the Christian stuff. Like they were going that direction with the convo. But
I love when I listen to your music and you talk about babe and like I'm like, this is real, because if you're just like exactly. Like that's not like you lost me, bro.
Exactly. And the point I'm trying to make is I asked the person again, okay, are you married? They said yes. I said, okay, in your reception, do you feel like it was a God honoring reception?
Why do you ask such tough questions?
Those are practical questions.
Tough.
Because I am sure your DJ was playing turn up music.
Yeah.
And it fit the event. You didn't have an altar call in the reception. Like let's stop the BS.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have an altar call.
Yeah.
There was not a pastor trying to go and lay hands on people.
Yeah.
People were getting down.
Yeah.
And there was music for that.
Kwanza, you guys were over there
exactly. We were twerking.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it make more sense if the music you were dancing to was made by a Christian?
Hallelujah.
Yes.
I love it.
No?
Yeah.
Isn't there a space for that? I think there's a space for that.
There definitely is.
I think we need to accept and open our minds to that fact that that's a reality.
Yeah.
Because
and also, sorry to cut you short, but what you actually said has brought such a big perspective that if I'm going to an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, right, and I'm not there screaming from the top of my lungs, Jesus Christ, hey, hallelujah, let's pray. Right. I'm going in, I'm doing what I need to do, I'm processing, I'm moving. You too are allowed to do the same thing. Exactly. And if anything, that also diversifies you as an artist. Because if you can play for me love songs, if you can feed my spirit, if you can talk about that day.
And you're still ministering, by the way.
Yeah, you are.
Even if you're there, the stuff you're singing, you're not singing at shoot up the club. Like, nah, it's not. You're still ministering. Yeah. Low key though. Low key.
You're just.
Yes, sir.
Unakuja.
Yes, sir.
Pole. And there's this, I was watching this clip. It was about Arise and Shine. And it was based on Isaiah 60, verse 1. That you should arise and shine and be excellent. And this pastor said, you should live your life in such a way that if someone has never picked up the Bible, they can read it through you.
Right.
When I thought that and I understood it, bro, the Bible is such a graphic book. Yeah. And the things that went down, the kind of people that went down, and how people are. I don't know why, as Christians, people come and think, where the Jesus is, everyone else is... the sinner, the heathen. When we're all heathens trying to find Jesus. Right. So I think it's very beautiful how you've brought that perspective that, this is my jobo. This is my 8 to 5. Right. I am here grinding just like you. Exactly. So if I do a love song, if I do a heartbreak song, if I just do a song about
if I do Coke Studio or I do...
if I play a gig for someone.
In fact, let me give you an example. Yeah. Like... I can do like a Coke Studio or Tusker Project Fame. Yeah. And people are like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then they hear me on an advert for Weetabix and they're calling me like, whoa, dude, that was you're killing it. I'm like, isn't that a double standard?
Is it?
It's work.
Yeah.
So if you understand that I'm working for Weetabix, why can't you understand that I'm also working for
Coke Studio? Exactly. I'm on a contract. Different? I'm in a contract, right? And I'm just performing.
I think we just pick and choose, and it's important for people. If you're a Christian and you're listening, if you don't remember anything, remember this. It's important for you to be led by revelation, not by preference.
Hey.
All right?
Sir,
don't just be led by what you prefer the people to do.
Okay.
Re-
Say that again. Say that again, please.
Rewind selector,
If you remember.
please. Just the way you
You
said.
should be led by the revelation of God, not your preference.
Hey.
So,
Drops mic.
Noel, it's 8 p.m. The world is
Is
listening.
it? I feel like we've talked for 30 minutes.
Me, I thought, but then
Bro.
I looked at the clock. I'm like, yeah.
Ajay.
By 8 p.m., the world is listening.
Yeah.
We played the album at the beginning, and I loved it. But I want you to tell us what the album title means.
Yeah.
I saw that Enough, and some of the songs were singles that you had released before.
Yeah.
But like, why you had a project in 2013, a project in 2017, and then this. So there was a gap between 13 and 17, and then a gap between.
Yeah.
But like, what does this album mean? It's 11 days old. It's
Yeah.
dropping.
Yeah.
It's brand new. Ini katoto.
Did you see his tweet? He tweeted that my album has just been 1 week old, and people are asking me when I'm dropping the next album.
It's unfair.
It's so
Let it breathe. Let it
Yes,
grow.
Let it breathe.
Hey.
Man. Let it breathe.
But I love the project. I've listened to it several times, and
Yeah.
even when I said Burna Boy, it's because I had you say Burna Boy Pistol on the like.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
dope things you like. I love the project, but like,
Mm.
what does it mean? What does the title mean? And we're not gonna ask you for another project now because we
Yeah.
need to digest it. But the people who are going to listen to it now after hearing us talk to you, what are they taking home? What do you want them to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the 2017 album, I did the Undugu 2018. I did the Love Sessions 2019. Those were EPs. And then now, after 2019 is when I was thinking about what to drop. And obviously, what dropped?
COVID,
Pandemic.
Mutoi Kagwe and Company.
I know. So I was just thinking about what to record because I had the idea of an album, but I hadn't written a bulk of it. And so I started writing during quarantine, and Enough was the first song I wrote, which was kind of just like, yo, my work has been cancelled. Like I'm at home. I don't know what the progress is. And that was kind of like, yo, God still got you. That was the kind of the song. And the album took that shape. It was very like, it had a very hopeful sort of leaning. And
In a time where we need hope.
Yeah.
A lot of hope.
And it was intentional because like 2018, Undugu was a very conversational album. Like I was talking about, yo, I don't have money to get married.
Yeah.
Yo, tunataka kupenya. Like, you know, we're ever ready, man. Like, but this music thing is not working. Like we were having real convos with Riga. In music, we had a song called Amadumi. We were like, yo.
And especially for men who don't talk about things. As men, we don't talk about shidas. So it's really nice for you guys to be open and vulnerable.
Exactly.
So that us other men, yo, I can't call my homie and be like, yo, I don't know what to do.
Right.
But you see, if you guys are able to show us that that's possible,
Yeah.
it gives us the courage to speak up. And that, as men, I think that's something we need to do more.
Exactly. Yeah. And then 2019, I did a love song EP because I was freshly married, and I was like, that's all I wanted to write. And so you could tell those projects were very conversational, very human, relatable type projects. And so with this project, I specifically wanted to be a bit more centered on the hope I have in God. And because I feel like we've been thrown so many other things, but it sounds rudimentary to just say, yo, man, have hope. Like, yo, man, God is still God.
Things are bad out here. What do you mean have hope?
Yeah, exactly. It just sounds like, yo, bro, what are you telling me?
Yeah.
But I wanted to re-emphasize some of those things that I knew to be true. Some of those things that had been tested, that I've gone through, and I'm like, yo, I still think it's true. And that's why I even started a podcast earlier this year called Essentially Speaking, because I was talking about essential things that I hold to be true that have been tested, and that I still think are worth having a conversation about. Over. And so it ties to the album in a very similar way, because the album sounds rudimentary in its core, and in its message. It sounds like but I feel like the music was super heartfelt. And I look at my journey as this. I use City on a Hill. There's a verse in Matthew that talks about Christians being a city on a hill that can't be hidden, or the light of the world, and that you should shine your light so that people will glorify your Father in heaven. That's what the verse says. And so I look at my journey as this artist who has a light, not because I'm super dope. I mean, I can play, but that's not the reason why people gravitate to what I do. It's because of what I'm saying, what the message is, and how apt would it be if I take the message back to the forefront after all this conversational relatability type albums. So City on a Hill is exactly that. And, you know, the first song that I wrote, which was like, I felt like was super confirmation, was like when Enough got an Afrima nomination.
Yes.
I was like,
yes. Shout out to you, by the way.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like that song, which is telling people to strip themselves out of this worth that we are creating in social media.
Yeah.
And just know who you are and whose you are. That song that I wrote in my bedroom.
By the way, if you need songs, there's an iPhone and you can grab it. It's got 2 albums. We have a studio. We'll record it.
Yeah.
I know. Yo, let me call my security guys. They should come. But yeah, I just kind of felt encouraged because and it embodies that name, City on a Hill, because I'm not like super mainstream famous. I may not have the most streams, stuff like that. But somehow, somewhere, I'll always get a reminder of
that
some
affirmation.
of the music, moving and doing something that I couldn't do with my own contacts or connects.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone at Afrima. I just submitted. It got a nomination. That's saying that, yo, what you're doing actually has a space.
It does.
Maybe Kenya doesn't have the structure for it to thrive as it should, but it doesn't mean you should stop. That's what
it's
I got from it.
What you're doing is necessary. Like,
Exactly.
we need this.
Exactly. There's a space. I truly believe there's a space for the same space we have for a Gengeton artist.
Yeah.
You need a guy like me. You need a Katetushani somewhere.
Yeah, for
You need
sure.
a Kanyashinsky somewhere.
Yes.
Like, there's
For sure.
space for everyone to thrive.
For sure.
And yeah, it's not every day where I want to listen to artists like me.
Yeah.
There are some days I want to listen to Njoki Karo.
Shout out
sure.
Njoki
You
Karo.
know, there are days
Amazing.
I want to listen to Nikita.
Shout out
Yes.
Nikita.
You know,
Shout out
there
to
are days where I
Hasbro.
want to turn up and listen to Calligraph.
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah, so there's space for everyone, man.
There's space for everyone. That's so dope.
Noel, I want to ask you my final question before I hand it off to the boss. My question for you is, after all these years, I'll say from 2013, 2012 to now, where you've put out several projects, even you've seen yourself grow as an artist in terms of when you did your Berkeley interview to now, and just what you've learned through gigging, through doing this professionally, because you do this professionally, you really do this. Do you still feel like the music you're making is my kind of music? Because I feel like it's not, in the beginning it might have been your kind of music, but now it's for us now. I feel like it's not, I don't think it's just you likes that. We like that too, and other people like that too. And people are open. You know, people before how do you feel about your music in the sense of what I'm just asking?
Even offline we were talking and I mentioned, what did I say? Gosh, it's gone.
I hate when that happens.
I must be hungry. But I feel like there's been a growth in what people are consuming because there's an influx of the artists who are producing that. Before, I think we didn't have representation because it felt like, yo, I only listen to this because ini sound ya maju. But now we have a lot of artists who are making this kind of music and who are loving it, right? And then I was telling her earlier on is when I release a project or when any artist releases a project, it stops becoming mine. It now becomes everyone's.
Yeah.
Like when I'm mixing it and we're going through the pre-production, it's my baby. Once it's out, it belongs to the people. And some people will love it, some people will not. Some people will be indifferent to it. It's all part of the game, and it's okay. I'm just happy that there's a small crew who deeply
Home
appreciate.
for me is home. Like your song Home.
Yeah.
That like that's not your song anymore. That's like that's mine. Like I
Exactly.
feel home when I hear it. It speaks to what I'm going through, where I'm at in life. So like as much as you wrote it for whatever reason you wrote it, I've taken that and I've applied it to my life.
Exactly.
The same way I can take another song and the same, you know.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of music. Like I feel like as an artist, why I'm super particular about catalog is that I want to give you a soundtrack to your life. I want you 2017, a song like Perfect plays and you remember where you are when you heard it.
Yeah.
that you're in uni, you are doing this. And then 2019, when you hear your name featuring Lisa, you're like, yo, that's the time I was cutting that chick, and she never liked my vibes.
She wasn't
I know that
feeling
she
it at all.
And then 2021, when you listen to Home, you're like, yo, by the way, like I want every time I release a project, there's a pinpoint that brings a memory.
Like today, I was doing research, and there's a young lady called Kofi, and she was on the show.
Yeah.
She said, like, there's a song of yours that's gotten her through such hard times.
Wow.
Like, it was just, it's like,
That's
you
dope.
had no control over that. Like,
That's
the
dope.
song is getting her through difficult times. You just put it out there, and we are taking it,
and I didn't know. Yeah, that's dope, and that's the dream, at least for me, because one thing I know about impact, it's not quantifiable. Like I've never been the artist to say, yo, my goal is to win a Grammy. Win a Grammy, don't get me wrong, would be super dope.
Yeah.
And trust me, I will flex. I'll put it on I'm talala, I'm tajua that I want it. But I'd rather the unquantifiable term like impact, where someone who was on the brink of suicide heard my song and was like, yo, it got me through that.
Yeah.
I can't quantify that. I can't say this is success 92%. No, I can't. And so if that one person, if it just saved one person, or if it just helped one person get through, I think that's way more powerful than any accolade. And that's enough to make me keep making music. Because people ask me, what keeps you going? What keeps you, you're in an industry that's not really working.
It doesn't appreciate you,
doesn't
maybe.
appreciate, blah, blah, blah. But what keeps me going is that I know that what I have, like, I haven't scratched the surface of giving out what is in me. And it can
that makes me happy.
Yeah,
so
and it can
and
still
so
bless people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So excited.
So there's too much music to be made, man. I can't even
That's true too.
think of hanging up the mic right now. Like,
Hey.
I actually feel like a new artist.
Wow.
For real.
As in best new artist, I'm here. Check me out.
Yeah.
By the way, I would not be offended if I was like,
Because I hate when they do that. You know, you've known someone for such a long time, them making music, and then now all of a sudden people are like, yeah, that's a new.
new
No,
artist.
like I can show you 10 years ago, but
right.
but like I've never had anybody be okay with that. So
Like,
that's interesting.
I would not be offended because I feel like there's too much in my tank. I've just scratched the surface. Like,
because like we're new to you, but not new to the. But
Exactly.
I love that you perceive it in a different way.
Exactly. And your diehards they'll defend you in the comment section. It's
They
fine.
got your
They'll
back.
be like, bro, it's not new. I
Yeah.
had this song in 2014. What are you talking about? Yeah, so it's fine. Like,
No, but that's actually today you've dropped heavy gems. You've actually dropped heavy gems because that way, or what you just said, is a new perspective. Because even how you're saying that you're trying to create a catalog for someone's life, it's also a catalog of your life.
Yeah.
And so you feeling new is because you're in a new space, in a
Exactly.
new season, in a new you've revamped, you've rejuvenated. So it's actually very accurate for you to say that this is a new artist. And
for sure.
I have so much more, and that's so brilliant that you're just, you're eager and what? Wow! No wonder that person told you where week. The
When's the
week,
next
hey,
album?
come on, drop it. Maybe they were saying,
I know, man,
even
I
them.
know.
But for me, what I'd say is, what was the most, or rather, what I would ask is, what was the most difficult song to write on City on a Hill?
That's a good question. I'm going through the track list in my head. Nobody Like You. I know. My Heart Is Yours. Enough. Uinuli was hard to arrange because I went through like 4 arrangements before I settled on one. It wasn't difficult to write. It was hard to arrange. Let me see. What was the difficult song? Those songs flowed like water, man.
Yani, this guy doesn't have hardships in his life. Like he doesn't fail.
Let
He
me tell
passes
you.
at even things that he didn't
It
like.
depends on the project. I've had some hard projects.
Right.
Like on Love Sessions, I feel like Tusichoke was a hard record.
A hard record to write.
To produce.
To
'Cause I
produce.
produced it, but sonically, I don't think it's where it's supposed to be. Sorry, Sage, I'm saying that about our song.
Shout out to you, Sage, though.
And it's already produced.
Yeah.
I feel like the struggles come with the production end to it. I'm trying to co-write. I'm not a very
People in your space, you're not there yet. But okay.
I'm just getting there. Like 2020 is when I'm like, yo, let's sit together, let's write together. Like, it's
But I
taken me a
didn't
while.
mean, sorry to interrupt you, I didn't
No
mean
problem.
hard in terms of production. I meant you are bearing your soul.
Oh, right. Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
You. Enough, for sure. Enough is like, oof, ugh, enough. Lines like, 1 million likes, now I'm verified. But when
Yeah.
I'm alone, why am I terrified? Just seeing your peers in social media, feeling like guys are progressing when you're not. That's like a super personal song. Like, it's not, I'm talking about him and him.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
you.
even me, I'm
Uko
there,
hapo
I'm
ndani
there,
pia.
I'm there. So that was a difficult song because I wouldn't say difficult to write, but difficult to be like, yo, am I okay with this going out?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was difficult. Which other song? Do I feel was like, ugh, are you sure you want to put that out, bro? Even My Heart Is Yours, surprisingly, I mean, I know it's an upbeat, fun song, but that song, I feel like it's a response to a lot of the advice I get from people.
Unsolicited.
Unsolicited, especially guys who are like, yo, bro, you should do A, B, C, D instead of what you're doing.
Right.
Without asking me, what are you trying to do?
Exactly. So they're not trying to help you with your vision. They're trying to get you to change your visual. But not them, they can't do it for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of the pushback I've gotten is like, yo, you could be such a big artist if you just didn't focus on your faith.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like advice you've been told.
Yeah.
To your face.
Yeah, like, yo, you see the way you did that love sessions, yo, like, just endelea hivyo. Like you could be bigger than you are. You know what I mean? And so, like, there's a line there I write, and I will always say your name, even when they want to put me to shame. That's why I wrote that line. It's like, if I choose to say Jesus 20 times on the track, deal with it, bro. I'm going to say it.
Deal with it.
If I choose to sing a whole EP about my wife, deal with it. Like, but it's what I have purpose to do. So you can't dictate it if you don't know the context. So that song was kind of like, that's why I started saying the question, the way I walk, the way I talk.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, they won't get me. And I feel like culture is there now.
Yeah, for sure.
Even on Twitter, like, you're like, yo, I don't want to hear this God thing.
Yeah.
And now, and that's why I don't even like the tag.
Yeah.
Because guys here, hey, Noel's a gospel artist. They're like, I already know what he wants to say before he says it.
Yeah.
So
and
they
then
don't give the art a chance as well. And so I'm just like, yeah, give the art a chance. You don't have to be like a believer.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, give the art a chance. I may say something in this project that resonates with you.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to do with anything.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all the songs.
Yeah.
There'll be something that will stick with you for sure. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'd like to say that I love how your music is based, at least your music is based on the seasons you've been in.
Yeah.
In the sense of, and that's amazing because you see, you're not going to be in this same spot forever. You're going to grow, you're going to experience things, you're going to evolve. So I love and I'm grateful for the fact that you share yourself and you share the music and what you're going through with the world.
Yeah.
My prayer and my wish is that more people would listen. Just to listen to and to listen, not to pick something out, not to gain something, but just listen. Maybe you'll find something that resonates with you. Maybe you'll find something that relates with you. Maybe you learn something new about yourself, or maybe learn something new about. But like, I would like people to listen.
Yeah, I hear that, and I say yes to that too, man. Like,
my final and closing question is, what's your purpose?
That's a heavy question. Wow.
Ulidhani hapa unakujaga kufanya
It's like, whoa. I was like,
woo.
yeah.
Boom boom. Damn.
Yeah, that's a loaded question. I guess I wouldn't risk saying that I have a full grasp about what it fully is and how it will be executed. But I'm convinced that it's tied around loving God, loving people, making disciples, and a lot of mentorship. I'm trying to be the artist that not just gets to the top and like this there's a door right here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can stand at the door and there's light behind me, and it's trying to shine in here.
Yeah.
But my body is blocking that light.
Right.
And the other artists were trying to
Get that light.
get in that light as well. I'd like to be the artist that be like, okay, cool, there's space for everyone.
Yeah.
And so that's why even stuff like Men of Soul exists.
Yes. Yes.
Just to give my audience the realization that it's not just Noel who's doing this thing. There are people like Noel, way better than Noel, who can share the platform, and it's not taken away from me. It's not. We can have like mutual fans. Like in Kenya, it's like
we
that
can
thing
share.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, if you
these are my fans.
if you love him, it's like, now you don't love me. Oh, you went to his show. Why didn't you come? Like, we can love each other. I mean, we can share audiences, and I think that can only be communicated once collaborative efforts like that are happening. And so I think that's one of my goals or purposes outside of the conviction goals or life conviction, where I'm like, I want my gift to glorify God and all that nice stuff that we say. Practically, I think that's lived out through impacting artists. Like, I want to impact people, but I feel like if you're an artist and you have a reach that is 10,000, why am I fighting to impact 1 million? Or I can impact one, and he'll impact the 10,000.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Bro, like how you're dropping gems. You're saying such ordinary things in such an extraordinary way that's funguing my machos to be like, what? That's true.
Yeah. So I feel like if I impact artists, I'll have impact way more people than I could do myself.
True. Yeah,
because my reach may be 10,000.
Yeah.
You might be an artist that grows to 100,000.
Yeah.
And if I impact you, those are seeds sown. So I kind of look at purpose in that broad lens.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't ask this question because I think it's a silly one, but like I'd like you to plug what you have coming up.
Yeah.
In terms of shows, where people can find the album, where they can buy it, where they can follow you.
Yeah.
Tour is coming up, and you guys have not even said a word about tour. So I guess let us know, where can people see you live?
Yeah.
Where can they get your music? Where can they follow you as we close the night?
For sure. You can follow me at Noel Nderitu on all platforms. I usually share the impromptu gigs that come. But yeah, as you mentioned, we are doing tour. Tour is a yearly event that raises money for cancer patients. And it's run by a cancer survivor. Her name is Doris Mayoli. She puts up this musical event. Just to celebrate that and to raise money to support cancer patients. And I love that cause. So I'm always down to do it yearly if I'm involved. And this year I am. So I may be doing something from the album. I may not. You need to come and find out. But that.
When is that? Sorry.
That's on the 29th?
October 30th.
30th and 31st.
Oh, not 29th and 30th. Oh, my bad.
30th and 31st.
30th and 31st of October.
Where is it going to be at?
Nairobi Chapel.
Besha Shigana for a ticket.
It's a G.
Yes. It's a G for regular. It's 15 SOC for VIP.
Okay, yeah, cool. And then I guess as the year draws to a close, we'll be doing more performances. Also, recording work. I think I can say this confidently now that we've finished recording. We just recorded a Men of Soul EP.
Oh no! Wow!
Yeah.
With the original guys.
With the original.
Ebu just shout them out.
Men of Soul.
I'm not
actually everyone is there. Even Manasseh is on there.
Yeah.
So Manasseh, Shiano, Maimba, shout out to them. Kato Change.
Yes.
Kimani Isaac.
Yes.
It's a tears.
It's machos.
It's a tearjerker type.
And are you guys going to have an event like the last one?
We have to. We have to.
Nikuja na tissue.
Mad.
Aya, sawa.
So
we have been warned.
Recording has just happened, so I think that's the next project that we'll drop.
So for the guys who are saying another album, this is for you.
That's for them.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably go back to EPs. Like, I think an album is super taxing to do. So I have some things in the chamber that we may shoot after the.
You said 2 albums are there, so.
Yeah, I mean, I write a lot, so I have a lot of unreleased music. So it's just trying to decide what is right for the season.
As we leave, what's that about? Like
What?
like artists having like a whole catalog of so much that they have,
Yeah.
but they don't want to chomo it. Is it
Yeah.
you're not ready for people to see it? It's not the right season. Why do you keep on writing if you're not gonna remove? Just please help me understand.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. There are some who just have a crazy work ethic. Like, I think when I met Calligraph, he told me he had like 400 unreleased songs.
Amefika like 800 now.
Yeah, now I'm sure it's double that. Like, then his goal is every day I'm coming to studio like it's work.
Yeah, he goes to studio like gym
And
every
we
day.
need to record like 5 songs. Like, that's how him.
Wow.
So there are
Yeah.
artists like him who it's a work ethic thing, and then there are artists who are like perfectionists.
Okay.
Who they do too much work, but they never release it because it's never good enough, which I think is the downside.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. If anything, you want to be this artist who is like super on the grind, and then you don't want to be like what's the word? You don't want to be like a step-by-step artist where you've written one song, you release, then now you're empty. You've written one song. You need to kind of, because writing is like Ed Sheeran used this analogy. He said, if you go to an old house that's not been inhabited for a while and you open the tap, brown water starts pouring. But if you leave it running, eventually becomes clear. He says songwriting is the same thing. You'll write some crappy songs that will be brown watered.
Yeah.
But when you keep writing, eventually gems.
The tap keeps flowing.
Gems will start dropping. And so I think that's why a lot of artists have a lot of unreleased music. Now, I don't know about why they are not releasing it. But like, if you're writing for an album, like for this album, I wrote like 30 songs, which is kidogo.
And you released 11.
And I released 11. There's some guys who write like 100.
For an album?
For an album.
Aye.
Like, do you guys know Mastercraft?
Yes.
He's a Nigerian producer.
There's a song you're featured on.
We did a song
with Evelyn Mutua.
Yeah, at some point, 20-something, I forget. But he was here for Coke Studio. He was releasing an EP, a 6-track EP. He opened a folder for me that had 70 songs. And he was adding them weekly. So I'm like, bro, how you gonna...
he released a 6?
So he's adding tracks weekly. By the time he released, he released 18 songs. It was an album.
Yeah. Yeah, it stops.
Because like out of the 70, 80, like 20 are fire songs. Like
the motto.
Fire. You're like, bro, should we? Okay, let's just release it.
Yeah.
And I really admired that kind of work ethic, because I'm like, yo, here guys are like, I have a 4-song EP. I wrote 4 songs.
Yeah.
Bro.
You give everything.
You're just like, apana. Where Rudy endelea kuandika. And that's what you're telling younger artists, to pace themselves, to get into their rhythm, find their sound, and then now start growing or start allowing the audience to see them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, delegate.
You don't want the audience to like be the only thing that's dictating what you put out.
Ah, okay.
Because you also want your individuality to be in every track, that you are okay with how this sounded when it came out.
Yeah.
And people happen to like it. I feel like it's dangerous when you start saying, I'm crafting this product to please these people. It's a slippery slope.
Very slippery.
All right, world. We can talk forever.
I know.
I thank you guys for listening. I would love to say, please, check out Noel Nderitu's project, City on a Hill.
Yes, sir.
It's available on all streaming platforms.
You can also get it on MOOC.
Yeah, you can get it on mookh.com.
For sure.
If you want to pay via MPESA.
Yep. And the name is Noel Nderitu. Don't forget the name. We don't box people over here. We just love Kenyan music, and this is dope Kenyan music. So please check it out. Have a wonderful night. And we'll be back tomorrow. Kamakawa, Kamadao. Have a lovely night.
Yes, sir.